Good day, everyone!
Hello!
Remnant! And we got Beck.
I'm here! Still.
Yeah,
I'm
special
still
Beck.
here.
Special guest, Beck.
Can't get rid of me that easy. Sorry.
So, yeah, welcome everyone to episode 3 of the Corner of Remnant in our little off-season, mid-season, 1.5, not quite, series 2.
In-betweeny thing.
Our fortnightly RWBY streams, and where today we'll be discussing, with our special guest, we'll be discussing the Volume 5 soundtrack.
Yes! Yay!
Yeah.
Soundtrack season, woohoo!
Woohoo!
My favourite time of year!
Busiest time
yes.
of year.
Of course, that's why we have our resident, well, coincidentally, have our resident music RWBY soundtrack expert.
The soundtrack queen.
So yeah, we'll be definitely getting into that. And of course, everyone, I have my little thing Whitley cosplay I've put together ahead of. Fair enough. But I'll be the shittest person ever if I get to meet Cara and Elizabeth in this. So I'll take it.
Yes.
Which I'll be doing
awesome.
tomorrow.
Yay.
Hopefully, as long as things don't go wrong. Which they shouldn't.
Cinder says SheNoob looks cold. I am cold.
Well, you're wearing a white wig. That seems appropriate. Wig. Ugh, I am all over.
Beanie!
What, beanie.
I brought
I'm all
3
over the
beanies,
place.
2 of them are Weiss and 1 is Barbara's, so... It's Tasmania.
I don't think I've seen
Always
the
cold.
Barbara one yet.
Huh? I bought it at RTX Sydney.
Oh, did you? I can't remember.
Yeah, it's the grey one with the yellow thing on the front.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
The one that was tiny and I had to stretch using a big hot water bottle. That's another story.
So maybe just to start off to catch everyone up, maybe if anyone who isn't aware, Beck, what was your overall thoughts on Volume 5? Just a quick little recap.
On the volume itself.
Just the volume itself, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so I thought definitely the best volume of RWBY so far.
Awesome.
I haven't talked about the finale yet because we never did a podcast on that. We're doing that when I get back.
On the bootcast, yeah.
On the bootcast.
Ironically, the same thing that happened with this podcast.
Yeah.
That was 2 weeks.
Yeah, well,
we finally
see,
caught you.
we all went to RTX Sydney that weekend, so
Yeah.
it just never happened. And you
Oh.
were without internet for months, weren't you, Dawn?
Yep.
Yeah, so, and for us it just didn't happen either, so, but yeah, I definitely thought most quality volume of RWBY so far, definitely a lot of improvements, still a lot of problems, obviously, that RWBY has had more or less consistently since the start, but I feel like there are a lot of things they definitely improved upon. I was impressed with the storytelling for most of it, and it just looks better every year. It feels better every year. It sounds better every year. The voice actors did an excellent job this volume in particular.
Yeah, definitely.
They did.
I feel like probably their toughest volume since 3, I imagine, and they knocked it out of the park. And just generally, I really, really enjoyed Volume 5. Obviously, it had its big problems. Every volume has, but
Yep.
the show's only going to get better as it goes on. And so far, that's been true. It stepped it up every volume. So yeah, I was very pleasantly surprised by Volume 5.
Well, awesome. That's awesome to hear. But yeah, today, of course, we're discussing the Volume 5
Soundtrack.
soundtrack. So I guess, just to start off with everyone's, what was your initial thought? I know you two both did reaction videos. Everyone make sure to go check those out.
That was a lot of fun.
Yes.
But yeah, what were your two's, like, just initial, after you, like, what was the first thought after you listened to the whole thing?
After you listen.
I was just blown away. But
In 2 words, blown away.
blown away. Casey just nailed it.
Oh my god.
But she's been doing voice training. I think you told me she's been...
Yeah, Casey actually, so she's been singing in Rooster Teeth soundtrack since she was 11 years old. Way back in season 9 of Red vs. Blue was her first appearance in Falling Towards the Sky. I think wasn't her first track, but it was one of the first.
Yeah.
All throughout singing RWBY soundtracks, her voice has improved, but in the last year and maybe 2 years, she's actually had professional vocal training.
And you can tell.
You can tell the difference in this soundtrack in particular.
Yeah.
In the amount of control she has over her vocals now is phenomenal.
Especially
She's
like in
just-
All Things Must Die.
I couldn't fault her vocals this soundtrack. Every other soundtrack, there's been bits where I've gone, oh yeah, maybe a little more control or a little more this, little more that. But this voice, I can't fault it.
I mean, a perfect example was to go listen to Volume 1 Gold and now Volume 5 Gold.
That's what I
and just
said,
hear just the so much more control.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's an acoustic version, but just in her voice alone.
Yeah, I made that
just
comparison in my reaction when I was listening to the Gold Acoustic for the first time, and I said, I remember listening to this song originally on the Volume 1 soundtrack, and the difference between that and this is like, it's just amazing.
I love the
incredible.
acoustic version.
She's
so
incredibly gifted, incredibly talented.
Amazing.
And,
Larissa?
incredibly humble as well.
Mm-hmm.
What was your thoughts?
Mind blown!
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Right.
Blown away. Oh, Nightwalker asked, what's our favourite song of the track? Mine is definitely Ignite.
That seems to be a lot of people's
I
favourites.
loved Ignite, but I also like All Things Must Die too. That's sort of very close.
Yeah, my favourite's definitely All Things Must Die, followed very closely by Smile, because Smile blew me away when I heard it. It was totally not what I was expecting.
No, I don't think
and
it was
I was
anything
like,
what
oh
we
my
expected.
god, this is incredible.
Yeah, I think Smile probably takes it for me.
Yeah, Smile was it just surprised me so much.
Yeah. Well, that's actually just to move in. Actually, that
Very loud.
that's something that I actually wanted to talk about the whole soundtrack.
Thanks, Tom.
In general, is that I think the whole soundtrack has that sense of almost every single song is almost like a red herring. Every single song
blew me away. Yeah.
Well, it's like either the start of the song or the snippet we heard in the volume itself. Almost every case was different from the entire song itself.
Yeah.
Like you have Puffed Isolation, but if Like Life Is Mine, you have the rock chorus we didn't hear in the
Love
soundtrack.
that he did that to that one.
All That Matters in itself is a very dark song, but it's covered by like a very beautiful, lovely music. But a lot of the lyrics actually not darker, but just like they don't match the music as much, I think. Smile, of course, we heard the one bit we heard was very different from the rest of the song. All Things Must Die, again, like I had the very soft opening. I think Triumph was only one that was about the same.
Yeah, the Triumph was more or less what I expected, but it's definitely... break his legs! I feel like the Triumph is my favourite OP song now out of all 5. Because it surprised me. I did not think it would be my favourite, because when I originally heard it, when I first saw the intro, I didn't like it. I was like, I don't like this intro. But it grew on me over time, and hearing the full song, I'm in love with it. It's amazing. Let's Just Live still holds a very special place in my heart because of a lot of reference to Monty in that one, and the events of the previous volume, and that one's very special to me. But the Triumph is so kick-ass and like, we're gonna beat the bad guys and we're the best and we're gonna do it together, and I'm like, yes, guys!
The most positive one out of all the intros, actually.
It's nice because after having Time to Say Goodbye was a little dark, When It Falls was really dark, and then Let's Just Live was a little depressing, even. Not depressing, that's not the right word. It was a little... I don't know what the word is, but like, it was... The thing
that threw me off about Let's Just Live is that you can kind of tell it wasn't written as an opening song, and it wasn't. It was written as a Volume 2 song that just Miles and Kerry never really wanted to put in the show, but they reworked it for the Volume 4 intro. That's always thing that kind of just rubbed me. Like, I like Let's Just Live, but it's definitely not one of my favorite openings. It's probably my least favorite opening because it just doesn't feel like an opening. I love Time to Say Goodbye. That will probably always be my favorite.
Time to Say Goodbye was my favorite.
I think that's also probably one of the more underrated intro songs. Most people like the first or Love or Hate When It Falls. Most people really love another Let's Just Live is either Love or Hate. But Triumph, I think, definitely does really well. It's probably the least different, like in terms of the opening verse and then the extended version. It more or less is the same. At least compared to some of the other intros. I think some
really
of the intros...
any surprises in it,
it doesn't really add much, I think, to the song, at least, as a whole. It reworks a lot of the same ideas.
It more or less just extends what we heard in the intro. But that's not a bad thing.
No, it's not, definitely not.
It's a good song. It's very good, and I really like listening to it.
I still love the I'm a girl, I'm also a gun. I just love that line.
I heard that, and I'm like,
it's great.
oh, I'm sure it's meant to say God. But no, the lyrics is actually, it's actually gun.
It's
so.
gun.
Yeah, it is gun, yeah.
I think just a reference to it.
I
It's also a gun.
I heard God the first time as well, and
Yeah.
then I read the lyrics and I was like, oh, actually, it is gun.
I heard gun and I didn't think it was gun. It wasn't until when I looked at like listened to it again, like, yeah, that's gun.
See, I kind of like if it was gun, because it kind of, because in the first half of the song, it mentions that, like, in the first verse, it says something about, like, gods, or something, like, you'll fight or meet gods. So then when they call themselves gods in the second half,
that's when you'll learn you've been messing with gods.
Yeah, and I thought that would be really cool if they then call
the very
themselves
beginning,
gods. If they then call themselves gods, it's a cool callback to, like, we're the gods you're messing with kind of thing.
Yeah, and the maidens and all of that kind of thing.
But, you know, fair enough, guns still works more enough as well. But yeah, but Triumph, it was just what we heard was, like, it was awesome. You know, but yeah.
I definitely
really
love it. Yeah, it's really good. It's just nice to listen to. And like after all of the other OPs, except for maybe This Will Be the Day, have been very full of emotion, and like very hard hitting. When It Falls was a big shock when that one originally came out because everyone was like, "Holy crap! What? Why is this intro so dark? Like we didn't know what was coming in the volume." And of course, it made sense in hindsight. But like when we first saw the intro, the volume hadn't started yet, and we were like, what the hell?
Yeah, because
like,
we'd seen it before the actual volume started.
why is it so dark? And a lot of people turned on it and went, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
But of course, in hindsight, it made a lot of sense. And when I heard the full version of the song, I liked it a lot more.
Yeah. And sort of Triumph is the same thing. Like, you know, this is like their first victory, really, in the show. I almost don't realise that because we're following our main character so much, and they're always having small victories. This was the kind of their first big win,
Major
I guess,
victory,
apart from maybe Volume 2, and which, again, the comparisons between Volume 1 and 4, and then now Volume 2 and 5.
Yeah.
There are a lot of comparisons there, which scares me for Volume 6. But seeing where the show, where they're going, it doesn't seem like we'll get that kind of a volume in Volume 6.
No.
Just, in my opinion, just as we look into it.
Hopefully not.
I don't think Volume 3 is the worst is behind us, but I feel like...
definitely not.
No, I feel like Volume 6 isn't going to be like a direct copy of Volume 3, I don't think.
No.
But, I think we should be prepared for some hardships ahead.
I think just being an Atlas alone probably won't have that same kind of volume, I don't think. So, and also, like, too, like, how in Triumph, like, the second... You can tell, obviously, when... the opening and then the rest of the song, like it has like, what is it, the bass guitar? Has a little bit of the bass guitar in the second half of the song, at the start of it at least. Yeah, and that's, again, like I said, is an overall arcing in most of the soundtracks. A lot of them, Jeff was a lot more experimental, added a lot more instruments, especially in the bits we didn't hear. And again, my whole back to the thing about a lot of the soundtrack being red herrings and symbolism for, like, everything is not as it seems, everything's not as it sounds.
Yeah.
Because all the extended songs are very different from the bits and pieces that we heard,
Yeah,
or at least the start of the song, at least. Next up, the next song we heard, the first song we heard in the entire soundtrack was Path to Isolation.
Your favourite.
Wasn't Ignite track number 2?
Yeah, Ignite was track number 2.
Well, I'm just saying in terms of what we actually heard.
Oh, what we heard, of course, in the volume.
I'm going in that order. That's just me.
Path to Isolation. Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah. So general thoughts. Go ahead.
And it's your favourite.
When the character short came... Well, I loved Weiss. Weiss has always been my favourite. The white trailer, when I first saw it, when it first came out, blew my mind, and Weiss was instantly my favourite. She hadn't even spoken yet. But I was like, this one's my favourite. I can't wait for this show to come out. This is amazing. I love this. Oh my god. And Path to Isolation... really reminded me of the white trailer. Yeah, it was the first time that I had seen Weiss remind me of the white trailer since the show had started. Yeah. And I was like, oh my god, I'm feeling so much nostalgia right now because it was set before then and like... Yeah.
And the song itself, like, it references Volume 1 Weiss, the person she was. Yeah. Again, this is like the prequel to the white trailer. Like, this is all that... It all does connect back to that stuff.
Exactly. And the song itself, like, it borrows a lot from Mirror Mirror. It even has the same violin runs in the chorus, which I heard the very first time I watched it. I went... That's Mirror Mirror. I'm hearing Mirror Mirror right now, and it's incredible. But it's like Mirror Mirror 2.0, where this is what Mirror Mirror would have sounded like if it was made today. Yeah. And it's like, holy crap! I love Path
which also comments on Jeff's evolution.
Yeah.
as a music writer and all that, and composer and all that kind of stuff
Yeah.
as well, because his stuff is constantly getting better again with the more experimenting and stuff like that.
Exactly. And he does like to do a lot of callbacks to previous
yeah.
anthems as well. And
Yeah.
but then when I had the full version of the soundtrack and that guitar kicked in, I went, yes! Because I loved This Life Is Mine. It's still my favourite song to this day. And when This Life Is Mine did that, it blew me away, and I'm so happy Path to Isolation did that too. Because I was like,
it's a cool. I think that's also a cool symbolism to the idea that kind of was still like, because the person she was and the person she is now in Volume 5, I think is meant to be kind of like the same person, but then she went through that period of loss and she became that Volume 1 Weiss. So to hear that kind of rock kick, even for one verse in Path to Isolation, proves that person was still there. And it took up until we heard Life Is Mine that person finally, overtook the choiry, singy, preachy kind of, annoying Weiss that we got in Volume 1, I guess I would say.
Yeah.
So it's a cool like nod to like that potential, that rock, because I think almost like the rock is almost like the new Weiss, and then the Mirror Mirror Part 2 was like the old Weiss almost.
Yeah.
Kind of sense. So
Tying
I
in
like
the
that.
old with the new, yeah.
Yeah. So one of the first few lines obviously is like unexpected loss. So again, also like that loss created like the change where she went from that kind of person she is now back, and where she first became the kind of person we knew in Volume 1. So what do you think that loss was? What do you think that loss is?
I still think it's a grandfather.
Grandfather.
But-
Yeah.
I think it could either be in reference to a grandfather, but we've not heard much about him. I think it could also be in reference to what she told Yang in Volume 5 about her mother.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How
Well,
when-
I even thought too,
yeah.
maybe this is like her parents breaking up almost, like her
Yeah.
parents falling apart was her loss or
That was
whatever.
on her 10th birthday, so...
Yeah, it
Yeah.
starts with the unexpected loss of something dear, and then...
Yeah, and like that was like her parents' love almost, maybe.
Well, her parents' love, and after that, she talks about how her mother kind of checked out. She fell into alcoholism, and she...
Or even how
Like-
Winter left. Winter went off to
and
do
then
her own
Winter
thing.
went off,
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so, like, slowly everyone she sort of held close was abandoning her kind of thing, so... unexpected loss, I think definitely probably refers to her mother, but could also refer to a grandfather, but again, we don't know much about
No.
him, so...
And all that was lost was filled by the anger and all the stuff that became the Volume 1 Weiss. She just fell
exactly.
into the mold of her family because that's just what filled it. That was what she was surrounded by.
Exactly.
There was also a line about like lines in the song about like friends and about like liars and pretenders and all that kind of stuff, because we don't know much about Weiss's like past in terms of like her friends who she knew before
Exactly.
Beacon, and
This
we knew that like
reminds
huh?
Reminds me of Henry Marigold.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna like, and that's another example. Like Weiss has always said, boys like for my last name, and it could just be like, again, like all of her friends when she growing up was friends just because of her last name, whether those be boyfriends
She
or
never
not.
really had any true friends, I don't think, until she met Team RWBY.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
and because they all were liars and pretenders, they all wanted just Weiss because of her connections and her family. So they're all just like egging up to her and all that kind of stuff.
It reminds me of what Pyrrha said about how like she was always placed on this pedestal, so people just assumed they were out of her league, and so she said it became impossible to form meaningful relationships with people because everyone just assumed.
That's still one of my favorite little lines and just character ideas from the entire show. I love that. When I heard that so much, that broke my heart when I heard that for the first time. Because that's so true. Like, it's not. I feel like that is like even a real life thing. Especially like I remember in school, all the really popular kids. It's like these people, like these kids intimidate everyone. And it's like I wonder if they actually just want people to come be normal to them, but they're just these. Yeah, I don't know. I really like that idea.
Yeah.
And I think in the song too, she points out that she's aware of all this. She's aware that she's changing. She's aware that she's lost. She's aware that she's becoming a worse person. Almost, I think. So it's interesting. Like again, like reflection, mirror, and all that kind of stuff. She sees it all in front of her, but she can't stop it. She's lost something. She's changing. She can't really stop herself from becoming like her father. There was a really interesting, and this next bit, I'm going to go really into skeptical, like really far out headcanon theory base here. If every single character, like, Blake is a character that has like a taboo surrounding her. She has this idea of possible abuse or even further with Adam, but the show probably isn't going to address that. But it's hinted at. there is a line in this song where Weiss says self-inflicted harm.
Self-inflicted pain.
Yeah.
Scars that cover wounds can't hide the self-inflicted pain is the line, yeah.
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 I've seen a
Now,
lot of
I'm
people
not-
on Twitter about that line.
Yeah.
Twitter,
so I'm just
YouTube,
wondering-
and Tumblr are losing their minds over that line.
Yes.
Do you think that's at all possible? Do you think that's more symbolism, or do you think that's at all possible?
I think it's more symbolism than anything.
I do too, but do you think it's possible? Is what I'm saying.
I
Do you think it's
feel
possible?
like,
If every
personally...
if every character was going to have a taboo, if every character was going to have a dark side that the show isn't actually going to reference about their character, do you think this could be it?
Personally, I don't see Weiss as the type to self-harm. Like, I don't see that in her character. I see her character as more someone, when she gets knocked right down, she fights as hard as possible to get back up again.
Yeah.
And I just don't see it in her character. It would be an interesting sort of backstory for her, but, like, I just don't see it as part of her character. And I feel like a lot of people take song lyrics as like gospel when it comes to backstories of characters, when they're
which
not,
is the exact opposite it should be.
yeah. they're not gospel. That 90% of song lyrics, especially in RWBY, are metaphorical. There are certain
and we don't really know how much Miles and Kerry actually influenced these or not.
Exactly.
We don't
know what Jeff knows about the story. Like
we know that like Kerry says on Twitter every now and then that he's writing music, but that's about all we know. And we don't even know if that really, like, I assume that's lyrics for the show, but we don't even know that for certain.
Yeah.
No.
Because they're not referenced at all in the credits for the songs. They're not listed as, like, you know, writers or anything like that. So we really just don't know. It's all Jeff as far as we're being told.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Jeff, I know that when Monty was around, he would always sit down with Jeff before a volume and bounce ideas off of each other about what is Jeff thinking for songs, and like, will this fit in with the volume and that kind of thing. And obviously there are songs like I May Fall, which in hindsight is quite literal. And it was on the Volume 1 soundtrack, but it wasn't relevant until Volume 3. So obviously Jeff knew about the Fall of Beacon well ahead of time.
Yep.
And there was a lot of foreshadowing going on in that track. But for Path to Isolation, I feel like it's more symbolic, more metaphorical than other tracks. Like, I think it is supposed to be a metaphorical thing, because we know that her childhood was very difficult and very painful.
Yeah.
And we know that she has suffered at least one physical scar from her training. So, but there's such a thing as emotional scars as well. And,
exactly.
And mental scars, and like, I feel like it's more inclined towards that rather than actual physical self-harm.
Yeah, and I agree that her character is more declined to adapt and change to a situation, not to stay as she is and kind of just suffer through that. Again, how she changed.
She's not a wallower, Weiss.
No,
so, like she adapted, she became like her father, like all that kind of stuff, rather than being herself and again, like possibly like, you know, self-harm and all that stuff. And again, like the song again hints back to like mind versus heart. Like again, like who she sees in the mirror isn't the person that she, like, her mind is taking over. She's not, like, following her heart again, like. Yeah. Which is stuff that a lot of her songs bring into. Okay, do you guys have any more notes for Path to Isolation?
I love, what I love about Weiss's tracks on every volume soundtrack is that they tell you a story. Altogether, they tell you one very long story. And it's in that same, like, motif of the mirror. Like, it's all of these songs are her looking in the mirror and saying, who am I? And it goes from chronologically, it's Path to Isolation to Mirror Mirror to Mirror Mirror Part 2 to It's My Turn to This Life Is Mine. And if you listen to them in that order, they tell you a story, and they tell you the story of how Weiss grew up and who she is now.
See, I almost think that maybe, I agree with you there, definitely, but I think almost maybe that It's My Turn might even be after This Life Is Mine.
You think?
Like, I feel like It's My Turn might be the moment where she actually does, like, Life Is Mine is kind of her coming out, like, her knowing she's going to do it. I feel like It's My Turn is the actual act of her, like, we might hear It's My Turn again in Volume 6, maybe, to her actually getting away from her father. Maybe, that's just my personal...
I still feel it's before Liz.
I feel this... now I'm getting confused. I feel It's My Turn is, like, her kind of... expressing her frustrations at the
Okay.
situation she was placed in.
Yeah.
But This Life Is Mine
Yeah.
is more her sticking the bird up to her dad and being like,
Okay.
I am not going to do what you tell me to. Because, in Volume 4, she was thrust back into that situation she'd
Yeah.
just escaped from, and she was having to deal with her father and having to deal with her shitty brother and...
Hey.
and I knew you were going to say that. And This Life Is Mine really reflects that of her finally breaking free of that cage, hopefully for the final time.
Yeah.
It depends on Volume 6 events, because now we're like, we have to go back to Atlas, and she's like, excuse me. She's going to be like, are you kidding me?
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait for some of the interactions. Like, I want to see, like, Ilya and Weiss. I want to see, like, Weiss again reacting to going back to
Yeah.
Atlas. Like, there's so much good things I really hope.
I want to see,
Like,
I
know-
Belladonna family interacting with Team RWBY and
Yes.
Sun interacting with Team RWBY.
I know a lot of people don't like the sitting around and talking. That's all I want. I
Yeah.
want just these character interactions.
At least for the first, little bit, I want to see
Yeah.
these characters interact with one another, because they never have.
Yeah.
And there's so much convergence going on of all these characters that either have never interacted or haven't for years.
Exactly.
And it's like, we need this, please just let the Belladonnas have a conversation with Team RWBY, please. And then,
See-
Blake's never met Oscar before either.
No.
She's
Yeah.
barely interacted with Crow, not even on screen at all. So...
Oh, that'd be funny.
I was kind of disappointed we didn't get to see interaction between Weiss and Crow, really, because the last time they met,
Yeah.
he literally shoved her face out of the way.
That is very true.
And then beat up her sister. So, I'm kind of annoyed that there wasn't a little, thing there. She just
Yeah,
kind of joined the
I also
group
wish
and was
we got like a
okay.
Ruby Weiss moment, but it's always one of those
Yeah.
things where it's like, so sometimes I think the fandom, not saying your example, but I think in some instances the fandom over assumes relationships and connections. Obviously,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
an obvious thing.
they
Like
do.
Weiss and Ruby, I don't think are maybe as close as I always thought they are. So obviously they care for each other and stuff. But now the more I think about it, a one-on-one deep and meaningful to them doesn't make as much sense as I think it does.
No.
So,
But,
yeah.
they
But it's
did-
something I would have
they-
liked to have seen, but it makes story sense why we didn't see it.
I liked the moments that Weiss and Ruby did have in Volume 5, just the little things, when Ruby says, "You're not
Sure.
cheering loud enough," and
Yeah. And that's something, that is their connection, that is their relationship.
yeah, and
Yeah.
then there's a little moment that I love when Yang storms off angry about Blake, and they just share a look.
Yeah. No, yeah,
It's
you're
that's
very
all,
right.
That's all you need. You know what
Yeah.
they're saying
Yeah.
with each other.
And that's
with
the
that
thing
look.
too, it's the small details, those things are there, they're just in the small details you gotta
Yeah.
notice.
And in
Yeah.
the finale too, Ruby collapses and Weiss is like, "Are you okay?"
I didn't
Ruby's-
like that too much. That felt weird to me when I saw that.
It was a little awkward. I think the animation made
Yeah.
it look a little awkward.
Yeah.
But,
But again, you could say that about most of the Volume 5 finale, unfortunately.
yeah,
I feel
well,
So,
and
that's
then
fine.
Ruby's concern for Weiss when she went down as well, and
Yeah,
it's the
that's
little
true.
things like that between the two of them, and even them holding hands in Volume 3 when they finally because
Yeah,
Weiss
that's
is
a
really
good example.
concerned
That's a
about
good
it,
one.
but
When they find each other again at the end of Volume
Yeah.
3.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And that is their relationship though. They're not necessarily overly touchy-feely very close people, but they obviously care about each other a lot. And they had a difficult start.
They're not Blake and Yang. Blake and Yang
No.
obviously have some
No,
connection
they're
to
not.
some
Very
degree.
different
They are
relationship.
not Blake and Yang by any stretch of the means.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
and we'll get to that. But now I think we next up what we heard was Smile. The very 15 seconds of Smile we heard, and oh boy, that was very different from the Smile we ended up getting, wasn't it?
Yeah, it
Oh
was.
yeah.
Jeez.
It's just.
But it was amazing. I love the tribal feel because Menagerie. I love the animal
Loved it.
beats, and it's such a good song. I really
So
think it is, and it speaks so much volume about I hope how much they planned for Ilya
Yeah.
to give her a song. I feel like that should mean something.
I hope they're not just going to toss her aside now. That will really annoy
Which
me
it
if they do
feels
that.
like, just in terms of where we consume the story going, that might be the case.
Yeah.
Well, we're going
But
to
I
Atlas,
don't-
so we might find more about Ilya's family
Oh, I
and,
hope
and
she goes
everything
with
there.
them.
I say
Yeah.
she probably will.
Because she has connections with Atlas as well, and that's where she
And
grew
again-
up. It's where her family
Again,
was.
I want to see Ilya hate Weiss, but almost in a comical way,
Yeah.
and I want to see Ilya lusting over Yang or something.
I want to see.
Just-
I want
just-
to see Yang
just
getting
as,
jealous of Ilya.
What
I
was
want to
that?
see Yang getting like jealous of Ilya. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know
Like-
whose like personalities she's gonna clash with and who she's gonna mesh with really well.
But I just
feel
hope
like she's gonna
there's
find
something.
Ruby
I hope
super
they didn't.
annoying.
I hope they just don't
Oh,
gloss
yeah,
over. I
she
hope
will.
there is some interactions. Some
I
clashes
definitely
of
hope
characters.
that Ilya accompanies them from now on, but I feel like there's a good chance she's just gonna go off
Gonna
with the new White Fang.
Yeah,
And I hate
and
that.
Sun even might go do that as well. I feel like they might, but I hope not.
Oh,
But they
please
might. I
don't.
don't know. I know. I love my son. I love my Blake and son, but we'll have to see.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously, Smile a lot about discrimination. It's a lot about the fairness, mankind, all that stuff. I love the fact that a lot of it is from the parents' perspective.
Yeah, it's Ilya's parents talking
It's
to her.
all about her
essentially.
time at the school and
Yeah,
fitting
it's obviously
in.
it's kind of set right before she goes to that Atlas prep school that she talked about.
Yeah.
And it's them sitting her down and being like, "Look, you've done nothing wrong, but the world
Yeah.
hates you anyway, and here's
Yeah.
why, and like
Yeah.
here's what you can do to change it." Essentially,
Yeah.
I love how real it is, like the idea, the disguise as a smile. Because that's such a real world thing that a lot of people do. A lot of people don't show what they're really feeling. People are a lot more hurt. But a smile, can you see through the smile?
Yeah.
Is like a big thing, with especially with like mental illness and stuff. So it's just again more nice symbolism there. I like that in the first chorus of the first chorus where it's like really it's slow, it's more acoustic, but it transitions into the rock bit, and it's almost as if I think Arnold mentioned this, but I noticed it too, where it's like the transition of her parents singing to Ilya singing. It's almost like when it goes from like echoey Jeff and Casey to just Casey.
yeah,
And it's almost like and then there are verses again where it's just her singing almost to herself.
yeah.
Ilya is, which I
Yeah.
really like.
I loved that vocal bit right at the start, like when the vocals first kicked in. It's "Show me how you smile." That I got chills.
Yeah, chills.
In my
So
reaction,
good.
I got chills for a straight 20 seconds. I was like, that is amazing.
It
oh my
was so
gosh.
good.
The
And-
vocals.
And it was funny that we didn't expect this because Ilya's parents were a big thing in Volume 5. But again, they weren't in your face almost.
No.
At times, but at times they weren't. So I think, again, it makes so much sense to get why we heard so much about the parents. Because they seemed to be much more significant than maybe we had thought. Again, the whole thing about waiting for the right time, waiting for the time to show, just wait. And there'll be the right time to show that you're a faunus and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed, and I haven't heard anyone else mention this. Do you think this song isn't just about her being a faunus? Do you think it's also something to do with her sexuality? Maybe.
I feel like it could. I
never
feel
thought
like
of
there
that.
is a lot of metaphor and a lot of symbolism in this song, not only for racism but for discrimination against LGBTQIA.
Sexuality.
Yeah.
How many letters are there now? Plus people.
Yeah.
And plus.
Yeah,
I think it's LGBTIA. I think it is.
LGBTQIA. I think it is
QIA.
now. Yeah, it changes all the time.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's one line in there that I absolutely love, which is they refuse to look beyond your skin, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that can be applied to our world.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like this whole song can be applied to our world.
Well,
not
almost
just-
the whole thing about the faunus in general.
Yeah.
The faunus in general can be so
I mean,
applied.
Yeah.
I feel like there's definitely reference to discrimination against sexuality and that kind of thing, as well as racism, color of your skin, and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And again, it's almost makes sense from a story wise why they give that kind of. I know Pilot Boy was the first LGBTQIA character, but the first on-screen main one, really.
Yeah.
Being a faunus, because again, it just ties into the whole discrimination thing. And it's good storytelling, I think, to give Ilya that idea.
And I feel like people too much apply our real world problems and ideals onto a fictional world. Like, we don't know that Remnant is as discriminatory against different sexualities as our actual world is. But we apply those filters onto fictional worlds because that's what we know.
Yeah.
So, like, for all we know, nobody in Remnant could give two craps about who loves who. But
That's true.
there is still racism. So, of course, there could be a discrimination against sexuality as well. But Blake didn't seem to blink twice when Ilya mentioned it, and she probably wasn't all that surprised either.
Yeah.
You don't think Blake looked shocked when Ilya revealed
I
that?
don't think she looked shocked. I think it took definitely, like, she wasn't expecting her to say it, but
Yeah.
I don't
Little
think it
surprised,
surprised her either.
but not
Yeah,
so
okay, yeah, I get
much.
it. I think in the moment, like, she didn't expect that, but then,
She didn't
yeah, I don't
expect
think...
that right then, but then she was like, I kind of should have seen that
He's that
that's what I get for living living in a commercial zone. That kind of trucks.
Oh, gee, that was loud. Okay, so welcome to this corner of Remnant.
Hey, look, there's the platypus. I didn't see that before.
Yeah, so that was loud. Everything okay?
Where were we?
Yeah, so, yeah.
Fix your hair.
Fix your hair, Shirley. Yeah, so, anyway. I've forgotten my train of thought completely.
Yeah, so, like,
Oh gosh.
Oh, gosh.
yeah, it's cool, I think, look like the thing for her sexuality and the fairness thing to be
Yeah.
in one, and this song, I think, definitely can
Yeah,
apply to that.
There's an elephant giving birth outside. That was hilarious.
Yeah.
I have someone clip that actually. To go back to that. That was so funny.
Another bit of the song too is like the parents are saying like that mankind will act kind, like it's like mankind will kind of do what they will, you know, to make it seem like they care, but it's just for their own end almost.
Yeah. I feel like...
and this
yeah.
Go ahead.
There are a lot saying to her, like, they'll treat you right because they'll think you're one of them, but the second that they learn otherwise, they'll treat you like crap, basically.
Yeah.
So, and like say, you'll know when the time is right. Yeah.
It's interesting too that it almost in this song, which I wasn't going to expect, that her parents were almost enforcing, or at least ingraining this kind of hate almost. Do you think maybe like the parents were like on the side of what would be eventually be the White Fang? And that's why
there's always two sides of the problem. There's never one side of a problem.
Yeah.
There's always two sides. And like Blake hits the nail on the head in Volume 5 when she says, humans didn't do this. We did this to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like,
but it's
this
also
was
interesting.
fairness on fairness violence, and it has to stop.
It's like when Blake says like, "Is this what your parents would have wanted?" And it's like almost to a degree, maybe they would have, because they seem like, again, maybe not fairness on fairness, but like they definitely seem to be on what would be the White Fang side.
Yeah.
If they would have lived long enough.
Definitely to the extreme.
They would have. I think they were extremists, just like the White. Maybe not.
Yeah, I feel like
they clearly cared a lot, but.
It's definitely possible because they were forced to work in the mines with the other faunas. You know, Atlas.
Yeah, it's true.
We've learned that Atlas isn't a particularly progressive place, and it's definitely not accepting of faunas. And even Mistral, like, there were no fauna signs up on some doors. And it's like, we had previously only seen Vale, and Vale was more or less a progressive place from what we saw. Beacon definitely wasn't.
Yeah. Well, apart from a few rotten eggs, I think Vale seems to be pretty okay
apart
with
from a few Carden Winchesters, sure.
and as we know too, vacuo is pretty much non-discrimination. As long as you can not get killed, you're pretty cool here.
Yeah,
so it seems like
Yeah, but like Atlas, we know is just not very accepting. And like, I've even questioned to myself often. I'm like, I wonder if General Ironwood is racist against Faunus or not.
That's interesting.
I think it wouldn't surprise me if he was, but at the same time, I'd be like, why?
But Ironwood is always very surprisingly kind. I think like he has his aggressive moments, he has his stubborn moments, but like he even sent Yang a damn arm. You know, so I think he clearly cares, and he cares a lot for Weiss. He clearly does. Ironwood cares a lot. It's almost like he can't afford that niceness all the time.
Yeah,
he feels like he can't be that nice guy all the time. And I can't wait to see. Hope he has a beard. That'd be really cool if, like, we didn't see. First time we saw him, he was shaven. Volume 4, he had stubble, and now in Volume 6, he has a beard.
Yeah,
that would pretty much like time progressive things, I think.
And then, Nightwalker says that there's the thing of Neon Cat as well, and she was from Atlas Academy, but I feel like she would have had to go through hell and back to be there. Because the way we hear Ilya tell it about her time at an Atlas prep school, and this is a Huntsman Academy in Atlas, and like we saw there was bullying towards Faunus in Beacon for goodness sake. So Atlas Academy, I feel like would have been
God.
hell for Neon Cat.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But she had the kind of personality that was like, it would probably just water off a duck's back, you know.
Yeah.
But like, and that was the whole point of that team. Like even Flint, like, you know, they're definitely the outcasts of not
definitely
outcasts. They're
seemed
definitely
like
they're definitely the odd bunch.
You know,
amongst,
like Weiss says,
Atlas.
whatever they are, like
Yeah.
it's not what she was expecting at all.
No.
Yeah.
But yes, no, Smile was just overall. I just really love the song.
Loved it.
What it hints at in all this. I really liked it.
Oh, so good.
It's probably one of the more surprising out of all the soundtracks, I think.
Definitely,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just, we weren't expecting it.
No. Well, because we heard so little of it. And
Yeah.
I think that's been the best thing about this year in particular, volume to soundtrack, whereas every other year we've heard almost all of the songs that have been on the soundtrack, maybe except for one, we've heard in the volume. But this volume, we heard 2.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah.
And a tiny
Very,
bit
very
of Smile, and then... so we heard All Things Must Die, a tiny bit of Smile, Path to Isolation, and a bit of Ignite. That was all.
Yeah.
That was
And a
it.
bit of All That Matters.
And All That Matters.
Is
Yeah,
only
a
a line.
tiny
And
bit
that's-
of All That Matters.
And that's the one thing actually kind of annoys me about this volume a little bit, is that we got half the soundtrack at the start and half at the end. We didn't get really anything in the middle.
No.
Yeah.
That kind of bugs me a little
Yeah,
bit.
we
We got
need
like
one
This
in the
Life Is Mine in episode. We got This Life Is Mine in episode 2.
Yeah.
We got like, you know, but yeah, we got like Bad Luck Charm in volume 4, like right in the middle. Yeah, I just feel like we again, it would have been cool if we chucked in like a fight scene and had a song in the middle of the volume.
I actually talked to Alex Abraham about that during the volume as it was airing, and he was like, yeah, it's a time thing. Like, Jeff just has not had time to write songs during the volume, and like All Things Must Die was so last minute, it's not even funny. Like, I can't say much about it, but he said it was a last minute snap decision to include that in chapter 13.
I'm so glad I did though.
Yeah.
It was so epic.
So glad
But
they
even
did.
so, like I definitely understand that, because again, the song, not that it doesn't match the moment or match the fight, but it definitely does feel like it was more of a last minute.
just add in
introduction
It was
in there.
very unfinished when it went in the episode.
Yeah.
Very
Well, that's another thing
unfinished.
too. I was very interested on is how much of these songs are finished. Are we just, you know, has Jeff just done the verses we hear and then finishes them off
I can tell you with
after the volume?
confidence that every song we hear in the show, what we hear is what's done. That's it. Yeah.
What has just been done at the
What
time?
we hear is what's done. I
Yeah.
know that's been
Interesting.
true of volume 4 and 5 at the very least. Is that
Which I guess definitely explains why a lot of the extended versions are different. Like, you have different
Yeah.
instruments, have experiments, stuff. Okay,
because
that's fair enough,
basically
that's
what
fine.
Jeff does is he will write his idea first before he fleshes it out. So he knows, right, I've got to have music that goes in the show. So I've got this, and this for an idea. I'm going to mash out 90 seconds of everything, and then I'll go back and I'll flesh it out later. And that's how he does his process. So
Yeah.
That's interesting.
yeah. So I know that definitely for the last 2 volumes, what we've heard of songs is what was finished at the time. And then everything gets fleshed out later, which is why it takes so long for the soundtracks to come out.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of one that he had fleshed out a lot was Ignite, which is probably, I think, the longest one we heard.
I think
Maybe
so,
Path
yeah.
of Isolation was longer. But the longest chunk
Actually,
of...
yeah, Path to Isolation was 3 minutes, and Ignite was just over 2, I think,
Yeah.
when we heard it the first time.
Well, in terms of how much lyrics we heard, there was a lot more in Ignite than Path
There
of
was a lot
Isolation.
more
Yeah,
lyrics,
yeah.
So,
I love Ignite. It's so good.
Yeah,
I
so,
just love
yeah,
the
well-
jazzy feel to it.
The
It's
jazz
just-
was
yeah,
amazing.
the extended
Yeah,
version. I love
loved
the jazz.
and Lamar at the
Really
end.
reminded me of
Eyebrow?
Freezer Burn versus Funky in
Yes.
in
Yeah.
Volume 3. Really reminded me of
Yeah.
that, and I loved it.
Yes.
Which I hope might be just a little bit like he's hey, we're gonna need jazz again, so let's just experiment a little bit with jazz this song.
Well, yeah, that I spoke to Alex again about that track in chapter 5 of volume 3, and he said that was a lot of like jazzy experimentation. It's something they were a little afraid to do it because they'd never done it before, but it worked so well. And
Yeah.
Jazzy Eye Burn is just the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So Ignite is essentially takes that and runs with it for 5 minutes. I love that.
Yang and Jazz works, Fishin says.
Yeah,
Yep, it
Yang
does.
and Jazz works so well.
Yes.
So do you think that Ignite is like a what do you think Ignite? Like, where do you think Ignite works in the whole Yang in all of Yang's themes? Like, where do you think that kind of fits in?
It's very similar to Eye Burn in the same way that Path to Isolation is similar to Mirror Mirror, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And I definitely feel like Ignite is set at the time of the Yang short. I
Yeah.
don't think it is a now song. I think it's
Definitely
a then
not.
song.
If anything, maybe volume 1, maybe volume 2, but definitely prior to
I
the
think
events
it's
volume 3.
yeah. I think it's.
Do you think that some of these songs are meant to, at least Path of Isolation and Ignite, are meant to be almost like not replacements, but kind of like just revamped of the same story for the newer volumes.
I feel like it's it's
like
Jeff
they're telling the same
and-
stories. They're telling the same stories almost.
I feel like it's Jeff taking us on a little bit of a nostalgia trip and saying this is what this might have sounded like if we did it today.
Yeah.
And like knowing what we know now, this is what those songs might have been.
Yeah.
But that's more or less like Ignite is I Burn reimagined kind of thing, and
in
like,
a jazzy feel to it.
and it does have references to Now Yang, but I feel like it's definitely a Then Yang song.
Yeah.
And like if you look at it the same way you look at Path to Isolation, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of the things I love so much about this song is it references so much more the scathing eyes, the symmetrical, the idea of like being having an appearance, but then being someone underneath. Because that's Yang to a T. She's this looks like this sexy blonde bombshell, but she's really motherly. She's really kind. She's really, there's so much more to her.
Yeah.
And also like her view, like she's very stubborn. She sees things like through scathing eyes. She sees things very critical, very at the moment. But not seeing the long-term picture.
Yeah.
That's why she always
much
rush into
more
the
now than she used to as well. Yeah.
Yeah, like that's why she'd rush into the semblance, always use that and all that kind of stuff. Again,
I think she's definitely a lot smarter now, a lot wiser, but she is a lot more jaded, a lot more cynical as well. At the same time.
Yeah, well, you saw that twice in Volume 5 with her avoiding the bandit's knife gun, jumping overwards, and even at the end letting her go her arm.
Yeah.
To go after Raven and let Mercury save her behind.
All the moments that, like, she went full red eyes and then sort of pared it back was, like, when she punched, I forget his name.
Shady
Man. Shady Man's. When she first punched him, she went red eyes, but she cooled it. And, like, when she got angry about Blake, she cooled it. And then at the end, when Mercury grabbed her arm, she cooled it again. And she was like, bye, Felicia. But
Felicia.
she has so much more control over herself now. She fights smarter because she knows how bad it can get. And she knows that if she relies on a semblance, it's going to backfire.
Yeah.
So
I would still love, though, to see, like, hopefully a good fight again with her semblance, and they can finally fix the fire animation and actually get, like, a full-on semblance Yang fight.
Oh, all they have to do is hurt one hair on Ruby's head, and we'll get that.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, I don't want that to happen, because I don't want them to touch Ruby. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Tyrion has to come back at some point, don't worry. Ruby better watch out.
Yeah.
I don't really have much on Ignite, really, because it's all, again, like, pretty straightforward symbols and stuff. I love the line, I love the last verse of, Eyes of Fire, I am something higher. Like, I really like that last verse in particular. Something higher, what do you think? Do you think that's anything, or do you think that's just, like, just lyrics?
I think it is a lot, it's a metaphorical thing. You don't want to mess with me, I'm something higher, meaning that I'm something, like, almost... Not quite saying, like, I'm a god, but saying, like, I am a power that you cannot fathom.
Don't mess with me.
Because she's a huntress, and most people aren't that powerful, so...
Yeah. Well, that's something I would like for the show to enforce a little bit more, is how good these girls actually are.
Yeah.
Because, again, like, a lot of the other characters, they just call them students, they just call them these kids. I would like just them to reinforce that, these girls deserve to be here. They're that good to fight these pro-huntsmen.
Yeah.
Or these, villains, It's just something that, like, I maybe in the back of my mind, like, these are just, kids that should still be in school. It'd be cool just to have them have maybe some training or just some fight scenes just to reinforce how good they actually are and why Ozpin has chosen them.
We got a little bit of that with Yang versus the Bandits. Like, she wrecked the crap out of them.
That's true.
And there's
but also,
7 against 1, and she's
these are
like,
just bandits.
you guys are funny. Like, I'm about to kick all of your
Vanna
asses.
camp's that way?
That's very
Okay,
true.
I'll be there in a moment.
Oh, the camp's over there? Alright, good to know.
True.
We got a little bit of that there, but, like, it's, I feel like, again, it's a thing that, the way Monty used to animate the fights and the way they're animated now, like, obviously nobody can be him, and, like, he was just unique and one of a kind, and the way he could animate fight scenes, like, nobody can do that the way that he could. So, like, again, it's just that unfortunately we lost that, but now all of the like animators and that, they have massive shoes to fill in that regard.
Yeah.
And it's a big ask to get them to learn in just a few short years what Monty spent his whole life working towards.
Yeah, and it is one of those things where like Monty used a lot of old fight choreography. He used a lot of things he'd used in the past for RWBY.
Stuff, it wasn't all original,
he also he worked 24 hours every single day.
Oh, yeah.
You can't ask these animators to do the same thing. This is their job. These animators, should just be there for 8 hours a day or whatever doing their work. But Monty would stay at Rooster Teeth and do things for like 18 hours at a time, and that's just, you can't expect that kind of quality because you shouldn't expect those animators to do the same thing.
No.
At all. There's some things that I think can be improved. Like I think some of the sound design could be a little bit nicer. Some of the impacts could just have a bit more Monty oomph.
Yeah.
To them,
but that won't be exactly.
But in terms of like the fight choreography, like the Yang character short, and this is the great thing I love about this one, we shouldn't get any wasted. Like I'm not saying the character shorts were a waste, but it's cool to see that, assumingly this volume, we're not going to get stuff like that. Maybe we might get one, but hopefully we should save a lot of that time and animation effort for the actual show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully, like I love the Weiss character short, I love the Yang character short in terms of their fighting, And you could question that, maybe they could have been cool if they were working on something like that for the main show. But that's just me. Maybe that's me being a bit cynical saying that.
I wonder if we get a more story-driven one like the Blake, Ilya.
Yeah. But even then, the choreography in that was cool, but it was simpler.
Yeah. And it was
but then you look at, like, example, like the Weiss episode 2. That was probably my favourite animation in the entire series, was episode 2, Weiss.
Yes.
In the fight scene on the ship. I love all the movements, everything just looked like Weiss. It looked so good in me. Like I didn't like the bandit fight scene that much. But not for its choreography or anything. It wasn't just my favorite. It just wasn't my favorite thing.
It was short, and I still loved it.
Yeah.
It was very short.
But then again, I love the Blake Ilya fight scene. I thought that was amazing. That was
I didn't like that one.
Really?
Yeah, I found some of the animation really slow and awkward. And,
it has some slow
there's
points,
a big issue with Blake and fight scenes where like they can't figure out how to animate her fight style because it's very unique. Like the way Monty did it, it was very unique, and they still haven't really figured it out. So they're just trying to work with what they've got and what they can do. Yeah, and it just doesn't feel the same to me. But I'm waiting for that day that we get a really kick-ass Blake fight scene. It's gonna happen. I'm sure we'll but it just annoys me that she doesn't even ever have both her swords out at the same time anymore. And like the way she fought in the Black trailer was like, to me, that's how Blake fights. But
there was a moment in that way, like she tried to use her hilt as a weapon, but Ilya just like kicked her aside. I don't know. I really liked it. I Kim and Melanie and the other animators. I just think they are doing a really amazing job of what they're given. And it's just one of those things where maybe if RWBY wasn't every single year, maybe it was a year and a half break in between the volumes.
It needs more time. It needs more time in the oven.
It definitely does.
I would be quite happy if they took 2 years to make a volume. If it would be twice as good as what we get. Yeah. I would be like, go, take 2 years, make volume 6 amazing. I'll be good with that. But the problem is that we live in a society and a culture online where there is high demand and high turnover. Everything's got to come out as soon as possible because people's attention spans are non-existent. And it's like, and it just frustrates me because I'm like, this would be so much better if it had another year in the oven, which it really needs. But at least this volume, we're not getting like 3 character shorts before the volume starts. Point. So they've got that extra sort of little... Yeah.
And they started production earlier. They started production earlier this year. Like Miles and Kerry were Miles and Kerry didn't go to RTX because they were working on RWBY, and that was in January.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Miles and Kerry had a month break. And then they were in there writing Volume 6 scripts. Yep.
Yeah. Which I guess, that's unfortunate. That sucks for them. It really does. It's a shame. Yeah. But,
it is a shame.
And the one thing I'm really curious about, and I'm really concerned about, is are the animators from Genlock overlapping RWBY?
No. I'm hoping they're different. Understand it, they are separate teams. Yeah. Because we did just get the announcement that Gray Haddock was stepping down as lead animator of RWBY, and that
Josh Man.
Joel Mann was taking his place. So,
Good timing.
because Gray Haddock is lead animator for Genlock, and
he's written it, he's directing it. Genlock is his baby.
He's the showrunner for Genlock.
Like RWBY's was Monty's.
And then so Joel Mann is now lead animation director for RWBY. So as I understand it, they are more or less separate animation.
And also now this will be the first full season that Kim is the co-assistant or lead assistant. Director, animator.
Kim is doing such a phenomenal job in that role. Gunchucks was amazing.
I love the Gunchucks.
And watching Gunchucks.
And that's what I mean. There were so many good hints of really good stuff. It's just now a matter of making them longer, I think.
Yeah, making them
that's the only thing.
Elongating them and making them fill out a 3-minute long fight scene. And they'll get there. They will get there in time.
And once they do, I think it'll be not the same as Monty, but it'll just be a different version that's just as good.
Well, that's the thing. People forget that RWBY is never going to be the same because we don't have Monty. And that's just the thing that
it's also
the
jump to Maya as well has changed it so much. It has a different feel to it because it looks so different in Maya than Posar.
Yeah.
I think that's a bit of a jarring thing for some people.
Yeah,
I think that was definitely a very positive change, though, and one that
100%.
And even Kerry said, this when we sat down with Monty to make this show, this is how originally we wanted it to look, but we didn't have the resources at the time.
Nah.
So who can argue with that? Really?
And also, if you guys think the animation was bad, if they were still in Posar, then the fights would be even worse because
they were worse. We saw Volume 3, right?
and that's my point because Monty could fight in choreography in Posar. No one else could really do that. Everyone knew how to do Maya. So
no one else can do what he did, and that's the thing. But they're not trying to do what he did. They're trying to pay homage to what he did, and they're trying to do them rather than do him.
And again, you look at the Yang character short, the Weiss character short. You look at Weiss in episode 2, Blake Ilya in episode 10, in my opinion. And there are so Gunchucks. There are so many hints that it's there. Yeah, it's just a matter of spraying it out over the entire volume and just getting it to work better.
Gunchucks, I felt like when I saw Gunchucks, because that got a lot of hype up, because we knew it was coming. They teased it and we're like, Gunchucks are coming, Gunchucks are coming. Because the model was broken for years and they couldn't animate it. And then they finally fixed it and we're like, Gunchucks are coming. And when I saw it, that was the first time I had felt that fight animation was closest it had been to Monty since... he passed away.
I love, there's a video out there of, the original animation wanted for that, the RWBY animation.
There's a side-by-side.
And then the Kim's one. And it even has the music, the original music he used for it. It's so good.
Yeah.
And that's another thing, too, like Monty always animated to music, so it'd be cool if they could get the music a bit ahead of time to animate the fights more towards the music they used for the scene, I think would help. Definitely, because that was Monty's big thing.
Yeah, you did.
I did scream really loudly in my reaction. Yeah, I got really excited.
I got excited too, though. I didn't realise how loudly.
It looked amazing. I was so impressed.
Back to soundtrack.
Yeah, back on track.
Yeah, do you have anything more for Ignite?
Just Lamar Hall. Knocked it out of the park as he usually does. He's awesome.
Those lyrics are so
I get so excited when I see his name on a track because I'm like,
I didn't even see it until.
I didn't see it until I was about to start it. I was like, oh yes, and then the jazzy trumpets behind his rapping. I'm like, this is fucking amazing.
It's so good.
Loved it.
I loved his work in Morning Follows Night, which is probably my favorite song, Volume 4 soundtrack.
It's
one of my favorites too.
So good. So what was next? It was, I think the next song we would have gotten was All Things Must Die, I believe.
Yeah, it was a big jump. All Things Must Die.
So, first up, Cinder or Raven. Whose song is it?
Cinder, in my opinion.
I feel like it's Raven singing to Cinder.
I think it's Cinder's. I think it's just Cinder speaking.
I think it is about Cinder, but it is from Raven's perspective. Sort of. It's kind of hard to
it's really
say
hard,
that
because we still don't know.
It is. It's not clear. It's not very clear.
It's not clear. But what's definitely clear is that it's about Cinder's death. But quotation marks death. But it's unclear where the perspective is coming from. But I definitely feel like it is about Cinder.
I get Salem vibes from it as well.
Yeah.
A little. It reminds me a lot of Divide.
Yeah. We were talking about that in the car.
It reminds me a lot of Divide.
It's very, it's just that sort of that's the piano bit at the start, and
very similar.
we heard from the
I keep getting that's one of Cinder's motifs.
Yeah, and it's just that it reminds me of the divide motif with Salem as in chapter 1 of volume 4 as well. It's
that is actually quite similar. That is quite similar, actually.
They're both very haunting, and they have a very
lullaby.
They have a very similar progression as well.
Mm.
If you listen to them back to back, like listen to Divide and then listen to All Things Must Die, they're very similar.
Well, that's the thing too. Like Jeff connects a lot of the songs by using, like you said, similar ideas to kind of give them that connection to each other.
Yeah. No, I love All Things Must Die. It was incredible.
Yeah.
When I listen to it, I hear it as like a Cinder's almost perspective on the world, and she wants, like Cinder to me is the wants to destroy the world evil character. She's the one that wants to watch the world burn.
Yeah.
Whereas to me, Salem is more like she just has a plan she wants to do. That doesn't necessarily mean her wiping, to me, Salem isn't, she's a big bad villain, but her plot isn't to destroy the world, like, a bad guy. Whereas to me, that's more like Cinder's ambition.
She's more about remaking the world to
in
how
her
she wants, in her image.
Which
she
again
wants
calls back
to be God, essentially. She has a God complex. So.
Which also, well, I think Ozpin has a similar God complex as well.
He does, yeah.
Which again is my whole thing, that I think it's the idea of the worst of two evils. With Ozpin and Salem, they both think each other is the worst evil.
Like, we know Ozpin's not a perfect guy, and we know, like, he's constantly said, I've done some bad shit.
Yeah.
And, like, I'm not perfect, and I need help to do this, because I cannot do it on my own. I tried before, and I failed. Yeah. So, and, like, Ozpin, he knows he's not a perfect guy. We know he's not a perfect guy. But, bless him, he still tries. So,
I'm still skeptical. I'm still an Ozpin evil character theory person. I still don't trust Ozpin.
I trust him in that I feel like his heart is in the right place. He kind of reminds me of Ironwood in that perspective, where like I don't trust Ironwood at all, and he makes the wrong decisions, but his heart is in the right place. So I'm I understand why he makes the decisions he does, but they're the wrong decisions, and it's so frustrating. I just want to shake him, and I'm like, you need to sit down, shut up, and stop for a second.
You just want to slap him.
Yeah, you just want to smack him.
Together.
Like, what are you doing? You are doing everything you shouldn't be doing. you know, and like closing the borders and that, and like painting a huge target on Atlas's back, basically, for the rest of the world. But what were we talking about? All Things Must Die.
So direct.
So it's just interesting, like, again, if the song is from Cinder's perspective, and she's like, all things must die, like, is she speaking directly to Raven, maybe to Ruby, maybe even to Salem? Maybe she wants to usurp Salem to some degree, maybe. Or she's speaking to the world in general. Like, it really, again, this song is probably one of the hardest ones to dissect.
Because it's really tricky.
Yeah. One thing I really love, though, is the line Bloody Evolution. Linking back to the Volume 1 intro.
Yes.
Does that relate directly to Cinder, and like her evolution is almost becoming a Grimm? Like you said, Salem changing the world in her own image.
Yeah.
It's just really cool stuff. And the song, like we've said, is amazing. I love the haunting opening into just the rock.
Good.
It's got such a horror game vibe to it too.
Well, it really reminds me of Lucis Notori. It's so funny how much when I heard it the first time, it reminds me of Divide and Lucis Notori simultaneously. I'm like, it's got that vibe about the grim and the evolution, and like, but it's also like it's a kick-ass villain anthem. And it's like, I want to watch the world burn, and like, it's a funny one. Like, it's really tricky to dissect because it's very hard to tell who it's about, whose perspective it is, and who it's for, and what it's saying. Like, it's really ambiguous.
Like this
is the word.
This is a song I feel like will come back. This was like in scores and stuff. This will be a song that I think will come up.
It reminds me a lot of Sacrifice, because Sacrifice also don't know.
And ironically, that's another song that's connected to Raven.
Yeah.
A lot of things that are Raven songs are really hard to kind of understand.
Yeah, a lot of people tossed between who's that song as well.
See, now, I used to think Sacrifice was Cinder's song, but now I think it's Raven's. After
what we have
learned about her, I feel like it's Raven saying to Ozpin, screw you, I'm not your pawn to sacrifice. But obviously at the time we knew nothing about Raven. We'd seen her once, so but yeah, I feel like what's it called? All Things Must Die is definitely about Cinder, and it follows the motif of Cinder's theme as well.
Yeah, it does.
You listen to Black Out the Sky, it's Cinder's theme in a rock song. It's the same thing as Bad Luck Charm did.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
it took Crow's theme and made a rock song out of it.
Yeah.
I feel like,
So-
yeah, Balaton's a bit more obvious, I think,
Yeah.
than this. Because
Yeah.
I always forget what Cinder's theme is, because it's always so subtle. So I always forget what exactly
And it
Cinder's theme
changes
is.
a lot too. They play around with Cinder's theme a lot.
Didn't you refer to it as arrogance, I think? in
Such
volume-
arrogance.
Such arrogance, yeah.
That was
in
the
volume
that's
3.
not Cinder's theme, but that's the the score in the end of volume 3 when Cinder shoots Amber and then Yang loses her arm. That's the score over that, and that's called Such Arrogance.
Such arrogance,
Yeah, that's the music box bit, the really creepy, chilling one. I love that so much. But
yeah.
that was what the score in that fight scene reminded me of. Like, I don't remember what part it was, but the score in that fight scene reminded me of Such Arrogance. Yeah, I remember saying that. Yeah, All Things Must Die definitely feels cindery.
It's like a creepy lullaby.
It is. It's very much like a lullaby. It's a lullaby of death. I'm one of those people that believes that Cinder is not gone and she's definitely
not.
coming back.
I don't know if anyone does believe that.
Yeah, there's people.
No,
Yeah,
there are people that do believe it, and I'm like,
The only reason why I think she's not dead is because I think Raven killing her doesn't make story sense.
it doesn't
And I
make
think-
sense.
I don't
It's
think
not
Raven should be the one to kill Cinder.
It doesn't make sense for Raven to off Cinder. It's not satisfying for Raven to
It's not
off
satisfying
Cinder.
for Raven to be the one. It should be
Raven
Ruby or
doesn't
Jean or
deserve
someone.
to off Cinder.
No.
But you know, and like that's no way for a big bad villain to go out. Like it feels cheap, and like it just doesn't feel permanent. And you know, like you know, freezing her and she falls down. I'm like, yeah, she could easily survive that. Like,
Yeah.
she's Cinder. Come on.
She's a cockroach. She can't.
I mean,
kill it. She
Cinder,
just keeps
Cinder's
coming
been
back.
killed.
Exactly.
Cinder's been killed like twice before in the series. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
trust me, she's a tough one.
No,
think-
she'll be back. I don't know if she'll be back in volume 6, but she'll be back.
Yeah.
No. I
She'll
don't
be
think so.
back.
I think if they think they should give her a break, maybe chuck Tyrion back in there, maybe as like a
I
replacement
think
for
we'll
what
get
Cinder.
Tyrion because I think we're meant to get the
Please
talk with
give us
Salem and Tyrion.
Yeah, love
Please.
Tyrion.
That
Like,
was meant to be.
I want
I'm
to
not-
see the mechanical tail or whatever. It's probably Grimtail, actually. It's gonna
Grimtail,
be.
one of the two.
Imagine.
I
Yeah.
still think it's mechanical because they asked Arthur to do it, but we'll see.
Yeah, but we don't know if Arthur did
Yeah.
Cinder's arm or not.
Yeah, that's true. He
So-
could have. That's true.
Christopher,
Yeah,
what are you doing in here?
I'm curious to see. Plus, she was flying at the end.
Just ignore Christopher.
I'm curious to see Tyrion again, and because I love Tyrion. I thought he was an
I love
awesome
Tyrion.
villain.
Yeah, I was really creeped
He
out and I
was
didn't like him at the
so
start.
creepy.
But by the end of
Tyrion,
volume 4, I
Tyrion to
really
me was like
liked
a good replacement after Torchwick. Like he kind of feels the void that Torchwick is.
Oh,
He's an
no one
insane
can
villain.
replace Torchwick, but yeah, it was nice to have Tyrion after losing Torchwick because I loved
Yeah.
Torchwick so much. But still, like we had Torchwick 2 more volumes than we were supposed to, so I'm like, okay.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I also
And
didn't like the way
we
they
get
killed
more
him
like
either.
Hazel, Mercury, Emerald.
Yeah.
Maybe Hazel will be like a
Chris.
replacement for Cinder.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to more Tyrion, and yeah, Cinder. Yeah, like you said, she's a cockroach. She'll be back.
Yeah.
You keep stepping on her, and she keeps getting back up.
Yeah.
And Cinder's definitely a character that I need a volume-long break from every now and then. Like, we
Yeah.
got one in 4?
We didn't see much of her.
We got
in
one in
4.
4,
Yeah,
yeah.
you didn't see
Yeah.
too much of her.
We didn't see a lot of her in 5, but she was there. And, like, I'm like, you can go marinade for
And then
the
too
rest
much of
volume
her,
6
too
now.
much of her in episode 9.
Way too much. Way too much. And, like, I don't like
That was,
Raven
and that was the
either,
two. I thought
so-
speaking to the soundtrack, I thought the score was. I think that's the only episode where the score and some of the music was kind of bad in episode 9.
Well, the score
just didn't
was
feel right.
from Volume 2, Chapter 1.
it
If-
just didn't.
if
It just
I'm-
didn't feel right.
Some of it,
to see.
anyway.
honest
to me.
about the chapter 9 score, I thought it was boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
I
reused
thought that
it.
that was the scene's fault. That it was
Yeah.
boring. Because,
Fair
like,
enough.
what can they do with the score over that scene? It's
I
an
guess so.
8-minute long conversation.
Add some jazz into it.
Yeah.
Some backup dancers go in the background.
Fucking Lamar Hall rapping over it. Yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, it's boring, but what could they do with it? Like,
Yeah,
the scene
I guess
was
so.
boring.
Yeah.
So I'm like, they're kind of between a rock and a hard place here.
I guess so.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, chapter 9 just...
Yep.
oh boy.
Yeah.
We mentioned lullabies before. I think that ties into All That Matters pretty well.
Yeah.
If
If you don't
This
listen to
song
the
for-
lyrics very closely, you think it's a happy song, but when you start
Yeah,
listening to the lyrics,
that's
it's
the big.
like,
Oh,
oh,
I
yeah.
see a lot of people
much
think this.
passive aggression.
I think a lot of people see this as like a ship song. A lot of people see this as like a a love song. This to me is 100% like a opposite of Bumblebee. This is almost like a, okay,
Yeah.
I might have done too much fan service to Bumblebee. Let's do this.
Well, see, I feel like Jeff, especially when he wrote the song Bumblebee, Jeff likes to stir shit with his music.
Sure.
He likes to write songs that he knows Tumblr is going to lose their minds over.
Yeah.
Because it's fun for him. That's what he likes doing. And
God,
he likes
did.
to write controversial, experimental music, and that's what he does. And like I said, song lyrics are not gospel. Let's not treat them like they are. They're not the Bible of RWBY.
Yeah.
But at the same time, All That Matters lyrics can be very much applied to Yang's, Yang and Blake's current
It's
relationship.
just too much in there that links to the show.
Oh yeah,
right now,
it's I feel this is a song I feel like is a lot more literal.
Yeah. And I think you mentioned in your reaction that you really hope to get what was in this song in the actual show. Like,
I
actually
want to
get
see it in 6. I want, because in Volume 5 they kind of just brushed right over it because it wasn't appropriate at the time for those characters
and that's
to
the
have that
songs too.
discussion.
At this moment, I can put this aside and happy that you're alive and you're back here.
That's
But
right. It even
this
says
is
that
not
in the
over.
song, like, you're standing here with that look in your eyes, you know. You'll hear that's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Is that right now we're here, we're together, we'll deal with everything else later. And like at that moment when they finally all meet again, I think the reason Yang does put it aside and say, "Come hug us, we'll work this out later," is that they had just had a massive win. That they all thought they were going into that, and they were all gonna die. So, like,
but it's also things like Yang, like RWBY was the one who said, like, we're all here together, right? And again, Yang even said back in episode 8, all that matters is what RWBY says. I will follow what RWBY says. So again, all the signs in that moment, just like, okay, fine, I'm happy you're back.
Yeah.
But bitch, we got some shit to talk about.
we will deal with this later, but we will deal with it.
And I'm really curious too if Blake's gonna mention that, you realize Adam was there, right? And she's like, Yang's like, oh fuck.
Yeah, well, actually, Yang knows who Adam is because she saw it on the television in Volume 4.
Yeah, but Yang doesn't realize that Adam was there.
I don't think she knew he was there.
I don't know if she's drawn the parallels, but I feel like she probably
No,
has.
I think Yang at this point realizes who Adam is, and that Adam was the person Blake always mentioned. I think otherwise we wouldn't have got that scene in Volume 4 where she was watching the news and she even saw Adam Taurus.
Yeah. I feel like she's not an idiot. She's definitely drawn the parallels there on her own. So, but in Volume 6, they need to have this talk. If it doesn't happen, it's ridiculous. It needs to happen.
I don't want to hear anyone complaining about this sitting around and talking. This is a fucking sit down talk we need to hear.
This is the talk they need to have. This is the one talk that I need in Volume 6.
Yeah. And again, and even Aaron has said on Twitter that, Blake needs to beg. Blake needs to do some shit.
Yeah,
she's
got some apologizing to do. Holy crap, she needs to beg for Yang's forgiveness because it was shitty of her to do that. But
once that's out of the way, we can get to the four-way situation that is Blake, Yang, Ilya, and Sun.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that's going to be.
Oh god,
this triangle just
But we need to get the serious stuff out of the way first.
This love triangle just became a square real quick. And it's becoming more complicated by the second.
And it might even be a 5-way if Weiss keeps having these chats with Yang.
Yeah.
So we've got to be careful here.
But it's definitely, and I've said this constantly throughout Volume 4 and 5 in that, and I've lost my train of thought completely now. But, I understand why Blake left. I understand why Yang's mad at her for doing so.
Yeah.
I understand both sides of things here.
Yes.
But I'm like, Blake, you did a shitty thing. You need to accept it. Yang's angry and she has a right to be. They will work it out.
Yeah.
But before they work it out, they have to
There needs to be some.
There needs to be some punching or something.
We need a volume 2. We need a volume 2, episode 6 parallel here.
Fight, kiss.
Yeah.
And
again.
Yeah, it just needs to be a thing.
We've got the talk in volume 2, episode 6. We need something like that again.
Yes.
About the situation.
And I feel like it's definitely going to happen. It'd be a disservice if it didn't, because they need to talk about it.
Yeah.
They need to have that conversation.
And we got the parallel in All Things Must Die with Bloody Evolution, back to the Volume 1 opening. This song has another one too where it's Wings.
Wings, yeah.
Which I always thought was kind of like a Weiss and Blake song almost. Like it's kind of like talking about that episode and what happens at that moment. And this is a similar situation where, again, it's like Blake ran off and this song was about Weiss dealing with that. This song is Blake running off and Yang dealing with that.
Yeah.
See, with Wings, I always felt, even at the time, like I could see a bit of Weiss in it, I could see a bit of Yang in it, I could see a bit of RWBY in it. So
I think
like,
it's all Team RWBY supporting Blake.
Sure.
There's a line in Wings that's 12 hours is a long night, and like when they meet up with Blake at the end, Weiss says, "Do you know how long we've been searching for you? 12 hours." And it's like, I'm like, I can hear Weiss in that, and I can hear like, it's definitely a Blake central song in retrospect. Yeah. But I can hear a little bit of her team.
Which is cool, because again, like all that matters is almost like it's a very similar song.
It's very similar. Yeah, there's a lot of
it's one point. And it says Wings, and even has the Wings motif in it.
Yeah.
God, I never realised how much Volume 5 soundtrack calls back to Volume 5.
It relates,
It's insane. Every song
like,
has callbacks in it.
Every song has a callback, and every song is almost a red herring in terms of like that it's not what you think it is.
No. God,
that's the thing.
All
That's
that matters
it's
definitely wasn't.
callbacks and like again red herrings.
Yeah. I thought All That Matters would be like Home. I was looking
So
for
did I.
another Home song. I love
but
Home.
then it came around and I was listening to it and I was like, oh my
this is
God.
not Home.
The lyrics are just, they hit you right in the heart.
They do.
Because,
They really like
it's
like lies, destroy my pride, I can't count on you. You know, it's almost like, and then again, she wants to forgive Blake almost, but she just can't.
She just can't.
It has to be this has to be dealt with.
She has to get closure first. She needs her answers. She needs Blake to explain herself.
And I bloody well damn want Blake and Weiss comparing scars. That's all. I want to see that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm interested on the topic of Weiss really quick. I'm interested to see if she goes through any kind of like PTSD thing, because she just like died more or less.
Almost.
But also, like we said, Weiss is a very adaptive character. She's not the kind of character to get PTSD almost in a sense.
Yeah. And at the time, of course, it wouldn't have made sense for her to have a little freak out session, but later on, I wonder if we might see some hesitation from her and like a little bit of like, a little bit of like.
And Blake can help her through that, because Blake experienced a very similar injury. Yeah. So that could be a good.
Yang,
yeah. Well,
I would say like a good like callbacks and stuff.
Yeah. RWBY's the only one.
RWBY's the only one who hasn't been seriously.
Or it's just to lose an eye, and then everyone will get hurt in some way.
Yeah.
RWBY needs to lose that eye now.
Vision, don't make me worry.
Well, I mean, we should be worried about Volume 6 anyway, I think, because we've had now 2 volumes where nobody major has died. So we came very close with Crow.
And Weiss.
I think Vernell counts. I would say Vernell counts.
Sure, yeah, Vernell counts, and we lost Sienna immediately in Volume 5, which is just, let's not even start that.
I still have no problem with that. I do,
because she could have been so good.
Yeah, I guess so. I agree with you.
I feel like she was just seriously underutilized.
I also feel like someone, I want to say someone from the RWBY, I don't know if it was a joke or not, but someone mentioned that she could come back. Like, it's not a definite thing, but we'll have to obviously wait and see.
If she comes back, I'll be surprised.
Yeah, I agree. But again, it's one of those things where she's insignificant enough where she doesn't come.
Give Weiss armor next volume, please. The girl needs some armor. They all do.
Oh, talking on armor, I had a thought while walking through the market today.
Yeah,
because they're going to Atlas, maybe new outfits. Because
I really hope so. I think it'll be kind of bad storytelling if they don't.
Even if it's just temporary new outfits.
It would make sense though, because the Haven arc is over. We're about to head to Atlas. New outfits would make sense right now.
Yeah.
So I hope
can we get Weiss in a coat back? Can we just get Volume 2 Weiss back?
Yeah. Can we have I want for Weiss, I want like a duster and some chest armor. That would look awesome. Like something almost wintry.
Yeah.
But and they are going to a cold place, so like they need to get a bit rugged up.
I think so. Like it's kind of like how I don't like that when Weiss was in the bandit camp, her hair wasn't out.
Yeah.
I feel like her hair should have been out for that. But that's a cosmetic touch. I would have tried to get in.
You know, it's a niggly thing, but
and it's one of those things too. Like at least in the SheNoob manor, Weiss didn't need to wear anything different. Like obviously the Weiss manor was nice and warm, but we'll just have to see. But I think it'll be cool. Like we got like volume changes were a much more common thing earlier in the volumes. Like it wasn't a big deal, whereas now it seems like it's a bit more effort because the models are so much better. But it's a nice touch that I think would be really cool.
If Weiss still has that effing dress on at the start of chapter 1, I will be livid because it's got a big hole in it and it's covered in blood. Look, you're not washing that crap out. Come on.
That's true.
Change your dress.
That's true. But it's also it's one of those things where I don't want them to just kind of forget the thing is there. Like in Volume 4, Blake didn't have a scar. She did in Volume 5, but she did in Volume 4.
No, she didn't in 4. Yeah, no.
I don't
But she
think they'll
didn't
forget
fight.
about it.
So it's not something I want them to brush over. I don't want her to get a new outfit and then that's never referenced again.
Yeah, well, it's a similar thing to how, like, for the longest time, Blake didn't have a belly button. And, like, people were like, Faunas don't have a belly button. I'm like, Sun does. So, obviously, it's just an animation problem. And eventually, in Volume 4, they gave Blake a belly button. I was like, see? See? They have belly buttons. What do you want about? Sun's always had one. Yes, but she didn't have one.
That'll be so fun. That would be the funniest thing if Sun has to go to Atlas and how much he'll have to change.
Oh, God.
To go to Atlas.
Yeah, he's going to freeze.
Because he's just a vacuo. He'd be freezing in Atlas.
I like what Nightwalker said there. That's a bit like you and I at the moment with you being down here.
Yeah. So I'm hoping for new outfits, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what they could do with it as well, and especially because they are going to a colder climate, rugging them up a bit more would make some
Especially
sense.
Nora's.
Especially Nora, especially Ruby.
Yeah.
And Weiss. I mean, like.
Well, like Ruby, I can imagine she just wear a coat like her she did in the Volume 4 character short.
She does have stockings on, so yeah.
Probably the
I can imagine her just doing the Volume 4 character
more
short.
leggings than stockings, and maybe some sort of something over her arms.
As much as I love Ruby's Volume 4 outfit, and I'd be sad to see it go, I'd be sad to see them all go. I love them all.
Yeah,
but
100%.
More cosplay options.
Yeah, I know, but like that's the thing. Like, change is inevitable, and it will make the most sense right now because it is a transition from one arc to the next, and that's the last time we did one.
If they want to be subtle, then they could just have their old outfits. Just have everyone have like a coat or something. Like if they want to be. And then when they get into the SheNoob Manor, they take it off and they're back to the usual outfits. If they want to do it half-assedly, I guess that's fine.
Like, the change doesn't
just don't
have to be
Sun walking around Atlas in the open air or Blake in the open air.
Oh, that will piss me off if they do that because like, you are cold. Put a coat on.
Yeah, Blake's hardly wearing anything. That's a good point, actually.
Well, Blake has her coat and she has long pants and long boots. She
just needs to
be is exposed,
that's another thing too.
So she just
I really want to see Blake without a coat on. I love the concept art of her without the coat. It just looked really cool. Obviously, it won't work in Atlas, but I just think it would just be cool just to not have the coat all the time.
I would love Blake in like a cloak. That would look cool. Like a black and purple cloak.
Oh,
that
would be so cool. Oh god, I would have to cosplay.
But yeah, assuming they show off, if there's going to be new designs, I'm assuming we'll see them at RTX Austin. So that'll be at the beginning of August.
Actually, I'm trying to remember. I believe that they said that the first bit of RWBY Volume 6 will come at like an anime con, which is in July, I think.
Yeah,
and I don't know if they'll show
concept designs then, but they might have something footage-wise maybe to show.
Maybe.
New characters, maybe, stuff like that.
Well, there's meant to be a new character in the board game too.
So I'm not sure that they would reveal new outfits at anything but RTX, but they might. So we'll have to keep our eyes open for it. But yeah, definitely on the lookout for new outfits.
Yeah.
I had to get this Kari cosplay done so I can then work on the new outfits that are coming out in Volume 6 possibly.
Yeah. I was trying to think. We were discussing the idea last stream about having a flashback episode, like maybe or something like while the team is traveling to Atlas, we flashback to see Vale a bit. We're discussing that. I was wondering how you think about that, Beck.
Because I thought it would be good if we had a flashback to what's going on, or at least what's going on.
Just an episode to see what Coffee and what Glinda, maybe not Glinda, but just see like what people are doing in Vale.
Well,
just right
unfortunately, I don't think we're going to see Glinda again.
No.
But like, if we do see her, she won't speak. But
I thought maybe we just go like from Mistral on an airship to Alice. We just have one episode where we stop in Vale, check out there, then head off to Alice. If we don't get a flash to Vale, we actually get the characters there for one episode, then head off to Alice.
It would be so good to see.
We'll be back in Vale at some point. I feel like the story has to come full circle at some point. Towards the end of the story, we will be back in Vale. Because it'll be appropriate to do so. But, yeah, I would love a flashback. My favourite thing about the character shorts was that we got to see the old outfits
designs
in the new style.
And the characters before all
we
the
got
events.
to see, their original models remade in this beautiful art style. And it was so nice to see, Blake and Weiss and Ruby and Yang in their old garbs. But they looked so pretty.
I did just have another idea though. One of the things that I think halted a lot of issues with volume, or caused a lot of issues with volume 5, is that they had a lot of locations that they build stuff for.
Oh yeah.
So if we did have an episode, that'd be a lot of resources for one episode.
Yeah.
To have available. So maybe not. Like, you have to build, like, again, all the coffee models and maybe involve in like into the Maya. So that might be a lot of work. So maybe it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Again, considering we're probably going to go back to Vale at some point, maybe it's not worth just have a one-off episode, and that's a lot of resources wasted.
I feel like
maybe.
Vale sets is something they could work on slowly over time in the background, sort of thing, instead of like having to build full sets for, you know, just one little snippet of a volume. I feel like that's something they might build up over time, but. Again, they have to build all new sets this volume as well for Atlas, so that's going to consume a lot of time. And I feel like a good section of the first part of the volumes we're still going to be in Mistral.
Yeah.
They won't be in Atlas immediately, so like they've got that sort of like, okay, we can still use all of this stuff that we've got while we're making all the new stuff.
Yeah. And all the stuff they have said for Volume 6, like in a Reddit AMA, it all looked really like, or was it Tumblr or something, like they've had some AMAs, and all the stuff, it looks really good, like what they're planning, what they're changing, what they're not going to do, what they are going to do. Like, it's looking really good towards Volume 6, I think, in terms of how they're approaching it.
Yeah.
And again, they started stuff a lot earlier.
Yeah.
We know that some lines have already been recorded. So it's all just, I think it's looking good. The one thing I don't think we're going to touch on much of the other soundtracks, maybe just a little bit, because these are all kind of the newer stuff.
Yeah.
But it's cool that we've got confirmation that this time is Gira and Blake.
Yes.
That's something. It's not Blake and Sun. It's not Blake and Ilya. Like it's Blake and Gira.
Blake and Gira. Yeah, I like that.
Which is cool. I like that. I wasn't expecting that, but that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
They seem to have a really nice, close relationship.
They do.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And like, you know, Gira's been in Blake's shoes, so I feel like they have a closeness there with like, he understands her, and you know, he knows because he's been where she has been.
Yeah.
And like he gets her, I think, a lot. And they just have a really nice relationship. So I like that song's about them.
Yeah.
And I'm curious how much further that relationship is going to go. You know, if the parents are going to be in Volume 6. I don't think so. But again, I didn't think they were going to be in Volume 5, but they were. So
it all depends on where everybody goes at the beginning of Volume 6. Like, what's going to happen with the characters.
Like, a part of me fears, like, Blake's son... No, like, the son, Ilya, and the parents are going to go off and do White Fang stuff.
Yeah.
And then we're going to get Blake. But I feel like that wouldn't make sense why Blake would go off and do the routine. Like, I feel like if Blake is going to do anything, she should do the White Fang stuff. But, of course, I want to save Team RWBY, but I feel like... I don't know, it's really interesting.
I really want Blake to stay with Team... I feel like her parents are going to stay behind and clean up the mess.
Yeah.
And she's going to go with her team. Because I feel like she cannot leave them again now.
Yeah.
Like, if she does that, Yang will never forgive her. So...
that's true.
Yeah.
And also Blake now realises that Salem is the bigger picture here.
Oh, yes.
Well.
Now that
she was in the dark before, completely about all of this. So, yes, Oscar needs a new outfit, for God's sake.
Absolutely.
Give him a new outfit.
Oh, I'm going to change my cosplay, goddammit.
I love, as much as I love Oscar's like cute little farm boy look, I want him to start looking more
it's
like
just a simple look. I've seen so much fan art. Just give him a black polo instead.
Yeah,
you know, that's all you got to do. Just give him like a same shirt but just a black polo, and then
like
just
a green sort of neck scarf or something.
I want them to sort of slowly start steering him towards the black and green sort of vibe that Osman had going on, and slowly turn him into the wizard.
I've seen some fan art of him.
Not all at once, because I'll freak out, but just do it slowly.
Yeah.
Subtly. Yeah, I agree.
RWBY and Oscar go shopping.
I need Weiss to stand next to Gira. Oh yeah, God, the height.
Oh gee.
I love Oscar.
And just on like, you know, like the remixes were cool enough. I'm not a big fan of the remixes, but they're cool enough, I think. Yeah. I like them better than the Volume 4 remixes. I didn't like the Volume 4 remixes at all.
Yeah.
And the gold acoustic I think was really cool.
Oh, I love that.
You know, gold was always kind of like, at least to me, was one of the most irrelevant songs. But I like how they brought it like the gold score during the Weiss and RWBY and Yang reunion. So it feels appropriate to bring gold back because again, that's like about Yang and RWBY. Yeah. So it's cool that they tied that all into the whole reunion stuff. I think.
Yeah, and like gold was it really displays the difference between Volume 1 and 5 with the gold acoustic and the gold original, and like Gold is Corey's favourite song from the first volume, but I wasn't that fond of it when
Yeah,
I
I wasn't
originally
that
heard
fond
it.
of it.
never
I was
mind.
like, yeah, this
It's
is not
just
one I
nice,
really listen to.
yeah.
But the acoustic, I love that.
Same.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
I've always loved acoustic songs like so much. Like Time to Say Goodbye. Acoustic is probably my favorite song in the entire soundtrack.
That's a really good one too. Yeah.
It's so I'm still mad we never got the When It Falls acoustic. I would have loved that
Well, I
so much.
I understand why they
But-
didn't do it because we kind of got it in the score with the Videri String Quartet. They did an acoustic When It Falls for the score of Volume 3. So I'm like, yeah, I kind of get why
I
you
guess
didn't
so.
want to do
And it's kind of cool how they did like the acoustic with the two openers, and now they've gone like with two more relationship-based songs of Boop
Yeah.
and Gold. I still think Boop acoustic was a waste. I think Boop was already acoustic enough as it was, but I still love Boop acoustic regardless.
I liked Boop acoustic.
This was a better
but-
because Gold I think I think Gold's cool for an acoustic. I just still think Boop. It was acoustic enough as it was.
Yeah, the thing is
Personally.
with Boop is that they didn't even re-record the vocals. It was the same vocals with a different backing track.
Really?
So, yeah. It was the same.
damn.
They didn't re-record them. So, but Gold, they totally remade the song.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
They totally remade it, and I was like, this is, this is good.
That's true.
Ruby is 5'2", yeah, she's fucking taller than I
They're
am.
saying that Hazel's 8 foot when Dust, I'm assuming, when he's powered up with Dust.
Yeah, when he's powered up with dust, he's 8 feet tall, yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
No wonder he's towering
Otherwise
over
he's
Porter
got
Oscar.
Okay,
6 foot,
okay.
I
Now,
think.
now I really want to see Hulk, Bane, Hazel, and Neo next to each other.
Yeah, Neo, oh god, that's a thing.
I think if there's any volume to bring her back, I think it should be volume
Please,
6. I think
Neo,
I
Neo
think
for Volume 6.
I think
Bring
after
Neo
this.
back.
I think after this, the story will be too intense to bring in
Yeah.
Neo.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like,
It'll
I
be
think
getting
this will be
into
the
the
last.
nitty-gritty,
This will be
yeah.
the last low key volume where they could bring her in,
Yeah.
and it would work.
My question is, though, if they bring her back, how are they going to do it? Why are they going to do it? And
needs to be
whose
some reason
side
behind
is she
it.
going to be
You know,
on?
just on a revenge to kill Ruby for Roman. That's
Yeah.
good enough for me.
I could see that, but I feel like they need more reason behind her coming back, not just putting in there because everyone wants her to come back. She needs to have a good reason.
Yeah, she does.
Yeah.
Which I think is why they didn't just bring her in Volume 4.
Yeah.
I think that's literally why, because they're kind of waiting to get the right idea.
Oh
Yeah.
god, there just hasn't been room for her.
No.
Which again, I
Everything
think
that's
this
been
volume,
going on.
I think this volume will be the only one. Because again, this volume to me is like one of the hardest to predict because I don't know what's going to happen in this volume.
Oh,
They're going to go to
no,
Alice.
I have
That's
no
all I know.
idea.
That's,
me
that's
neither.
it.
I made so many predictions for Volume 5 and they were all wrong. So I was like, I'm not going to predict I'm not going to predict
Yeah.
shit for Volume 6.
I couldn't
And,
really
and,
predict
and, that's,
anything
and that's,
with
that's
Volume
Ruby to
4
a T.
either.
Ruby is just so hard to predict because they just always go with different options than the most obvious one.
Well,
Yeah.
Miles,
where
Miles
we
and Carrie
thought
always
Volume
go
5
with.
was going changed completely in Episode 2.
Well, because, like, they turned everything on its head at, like, Episode 2.
Yeah.
When Raven kidnapped Weiss. I was like, well, crap. That
There you
just
go.
changed everything.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, like, and it totally threw all the plans out the window. And we were like, oh, yeah, we know where this volume's going. Pfft, we didn't know anything.
No,
So,
we don't know.
yeah.
Which is good. I love that it's unpredictable as it is.
I
It always
did
goes-
love the unpredictability of 5, yeah. I felt like 4 and even 3 were pretty predictable. Like, after the fall of Beacon, it was totally predictable. The
Yeah.
only things that surprised me were Yang's arm and Pyrrha's death. But even Pyrrha's death I saw coming.
Yeah.
So, like, Volume 5, holy crap, that turned me on my heels, like, so many times. I was like, what did they just do?
Yeah,
Oh my
and
God.
I was even
the maiden.
Yeah.
I was even telling Larissa last stream that, like, you know, episode 11 is so impactful. It's a shame that it's not as much now because we know what, like, we know the rest of the rest, like, again, like Volume 5's finale is a bit rushed, etc.
Oh, yeah.
So just like because I remember when I saw Weiss get empowered, that was the most impactful thing I've ever seen. No pun intended. It's just like that. It doesn't have much impact now because, like, I guess the quality of the episode isn't as good past that. So.
Yeah.
But still, like, but overall, yeah. So, where do you rank the soundtracks? Like, where does this rank in your favorite soundtracks?
Second.
Second.
Yeah, 4
What was your
is
first? What was first?
4 is first just because
4.
of This Life Is Mine and Bad Luck Charm. If they didn't exist,
enough.
5 would be first.
Yeah, I love Morning Fuller's Night too. I think it's a bit of a tie for me with Volume 4 at the moment. I don't think I could really pick one. which
I
is
think
my
I
favourite.
think Volume 2 is probably my favorite.
Yeah, I like Volume 2 as
I
well.
love-
I like
I love
Volume
Boop.
2, but
I love Boop. I love Time to Say Goodbye. I love
I just love This Life Is Mine so much.
Not Shine. What is the other song? What's the credit song?
Dream Come True.
Dream
Come True. I love Dream Come
the
True.
Other pure one, yeah.
I love Sacrifice. I love obviously Caffeine.
Yeah, Shine, Sacrifice. Volume 2 was
I'm
awesome.
not a big fan of Shine. I don't think I'm a big fan of Shine.
I love Shine. Shine
Shine's
just
good.
makes me happy.
Yeah.
But again, but you have things like This Life Is Mine and Armed and Ready and Morning Follows Night, and Fall was good. The more I think of it, the
Fall
Fall
was really
was
good.
really good.
But yeah,
I think
5
I
is
love
very
Volume
close
3. I love When It
second.
Falls. I love Divide. They're also good. The soundtracks are also good.
I feel like the quality of 5 soundtrack is better, like in terms of the quality of sound and quality of vocals is better. But just 4 had such good songs on it that I was like, oh man, if these 2 songs weren't a thing, then 5 would be number 1. But yeah. Yeah, no. This Life Is Mine is just...
Yeah, This Life Is Mine.
It's so good.
Yeah.
I think my favorite's probably It's My Turn. I think I like that so much because it's so underrated. A lot of people always forget about it.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan of It's My Turn.
I love It's My Turn.
Yeah, I don't know what it even was about it. I just went, I like
It
this.
was strangely placed. It was a strange song to put there, and it didn't really have much connection until Volume 4, really.
Yeah.
But I guess When It 4 had the same feel in Volume 1, though.
I think it was the quality of sound in that one that bothered me the most. I felt like it was a bit lacking in quality.
Fair enough.
Yeah, This Life Is Mine is too good for all of us. Yeah, it's just
This Life Is Mine is
knock
really
it out of
good.
the park with that one. I don't know how he's ever going to top that song for Weiss. I don't think it's possible.
Don't know.
Like, he gave it a good whack with Past the Isolation. I'm like, yes, this reminds me of This Life Is Mine, but it's not better.
No.
So, yeah, no, that was a once-off kind of thing there, I think. And he did his best to replicate it. Which he did, I feel like. But, yeah, no, This Life Is Mine is the best.
So, any more notes on the soundtrack?
I felt like the
covered.
remixes were really good. Yeah.
Yeah?
Previous volumes, I have not liked any of the remixes, really. There was maybe 1 or 2 that I liked. But this one, I really liked the Let's Just Live one. I know you liked the other one, Armed and Ready.
I like the Armed and Ready one.
I really liked Let's Just Live, that one.
Yeah. It's growing on me, the Let's Just Live one. But listening to them for the first time, I really like the Armed and Ready one better. But
I mean,
Yeah.
Piskin, do we need to talk about the score? It's amazing. It's always amazing. The one little bit of the score is like the Raven versus Cinder score.
I love
What's
the Drunkle
What's that
Crow
called?
one.
Look Who's
too.
Talking.
Look
it's
Who's
called.
Talking.
And there's one other. Oh God, what was it? I can't
I
remember.
found him. I love that one with Drunkle
I found
Crow.
him's great. And
Dinner and Coffee.
Dinner and Coffee is
Yeah, I like that
awesome
one
too.
too. That's good.
And both like the home piano is my favorite piece of score. This entire volume. The home piano, look, because like just it takes me back to that moment of watching the episode and like seeing finally these characters are back together and having their
that
hug
was so
and like
good.
bursting into tears and being a complete mess on camera. And like
Shush,
every
Chris.
time I hear that piano, it takes me back to that moment.
Oh, that was so good. I love that they used Home too, because it's like they didn't have. I guess imagine they didn't really have anything there, but I think they chose so well to use Home for that scene. So good.
The gold piano has the same kind of effect, but not as much
Yeah.
because we knew that reunion was coming from a long way
we
off.
did.
So like
Yeah.
the Weiss and Yang reunion was a surprise because we didn't know they were going to end up in the same place until chapter 2. We were like, oh, this is a thing that's happening.
Yeah.
And then once it eventually did.
I'd theorized that Weiss and Yang would be one of the funds to come back together, but it was still surprising. I still loved the scene.
Yeah,
so
the
much.
way they did
It didn't
surprised
happen the way I
everyone.
expected.
Ozpin is another good one. C is for Cinder is amazing. Battle at the Belladonnas is really good.
I really liked how they actually put all the battle of the Belladonnas into the one score piece.
Yeah, they've tried to
Which is
group
really
things
good.
together. They've done the score differently every soundtrack, but yeah, the way they did it last year, I found annoying to edit with because it was in
So they did like
parts.
part 1s and parts 2s.
Yeah,
for, like,
and they
different
were grouped together
scenes.
per character, but it was so annoying because like every episode had 2 or 3 different parts, and I was like, "What part is this from?" Whereas now they're all named, and I can see what's what. So I'm like,
I
for
quite like
editing,
that,
that's really good. It makes my job a lot easier.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Look Who's Talking is really good. I love that one. And yeah, the home piano just always will make me cry.
I still need to go back and listen to the. I don't really listen to the scores in most of the soundtracks.
Usually,
but I definitely need to.
Every time I get the soundtrack, I'll listen to the songs and then I'll listen to the score once in entirety. I'll listen from beginning to end. Because then that way I can pick up the motifs as I listen, and then I will go through them again individually and write down motifs to make excerpt videos. So I listen to it twice overall.
I listen to them all the time at work when I'm working. I just put them on a playlist and shuffle them. Yeah.
Weiss is a rock goddess, yeah. Yeah, Weiss versus Vanal was an excellent score, yeah. In C is for Cinder, yeah. That was
even that fight, I really love that fight.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was a good fight, yeah. A lot of people complained about it at the time, because they're like, Weiss doesn't fight like that. I'm like, well, Weiss has never fought in a big open space like this, really.
Yeah.
And she also hasn't fought for a year.
Like
and she also hasn't fought for a year.
She fought like that in the Weiss character short, so shut up.
She just made a lot of mistakes in that fight.
And she never fought someone. She never fought someone like Vanal. She hadn't fought for a year. She hadn't fought in a big open space like that. Like again, it all made sense.
Vanal was better than her as well. And like she had a lot of space she had to work with. She was making silly mistakes because she was trying to summon and she shouldn't have. Yeah. And like she made the mistake earlier of revealing that she could summon to Vanal without knowing that she was going to later fight her. So Vanal was trying everything she could to stop her from doing it, and like
Vanal is a bandit. She's used to fighting people too.
So. And also, Weiss is used to like finesse fighting. She's trained like fancy all her life,
she's
whereas
Vanal
is
whereas Vanal's dirty, rotten cheater. Basically, she just
she's had to fight to survive. So her fighting style is a lot more opportunistic and a lot more rushed.
Yeah, exactly.
But no, overall, I thought the soundtrack for this was amazing. I thought the volume was really cool, and I'm really looking forward to the stuff we're seeing. For Volume 6, if you had to say, for Volume 6's soundtrack, what is one character that you want to get another or a song for?
Ruby needs a song!
For God's sake, Ruby. She hasn't had a song since Volume 2.
She's only got 2 actual songs.
No, Volume 1.
Yeah, Volume 1, because
Volume 1,
it's been
since Volume 1. She hasn't had her own song since Volume 1.
She hasn't. She needs a song.
It's ridiculous she needs a song. For God's sake. Give Ruby some damn character development. For goodness sake. Like, we got a glimpse at it in Volume 5 when she has her I'm angry moment. And I'm like, we need that, but we need it in a whole volume.
And she talked with Oscar.
And it seems like we had in Volume 4 her talking about Penny and dragging Team Juniper around. We had it in Volume 5, which is talking about Penny and Pyrrha. We had it again, like that angry thing. They're there. They're just not in your face. And because they have so much to give, but they just don't want to do it too early because they want it to last to the end of the series. So they're just waiting. Yeah, you could say, well, they could have had some stuff in the meantime, sure, but again, they have so much they're planning for. They're just they're just waiting for the right time to execute.
It's the thing. It does have to be appropriate.
Yeah.
And a lot of attention has been focused on everyone else, and it's been necessary for the attention to be focused on everyone else. But and part of Ruby's personality is that she does bounce back very hard, and she doesn't. I don't think she really dwells on stuff like that very much.
Yeah, no, she doesn't.
Like even she was having nightmares about Pyrrha in Volume 4, but she didn't talk about it with anyone.
No.
And she just kind of shakes her head and gets going on with things. But she did open up to Jean a little bit about this is all my fault. I've dragged you all into this.
Yeah.
And she gets little moments like that, but I feel like they're not as impactful as they could be.
Yeah, like a character hasn't changed, like say Weiss has.
Yeah.
Or even Yang or Blake. Like their character has changed, whereas Ruby
hasn't
had
changed. She's stayed the same. She might have matured a little bit, but
she's matured a little, but
but again, she hasn't been through anything major like the rest of them have.
Yeah.
So she's just kind of had to sit on the sidelines and watch everyone she loves go through all this awful crap.
Yeah.
And it's like,
and again, we have the potential of something, maybe Penny related in Atlas. So we'll see maybe if something that sparks something
for Penny to
or even again just Weiss and Ruby. We'll have some more time. Maybe we can get some more development. Weiss can help her there, and being back with Yang, it all like being around Jean, Ren, and Nora. There wasn't much for her to develop off.
Yeah.
Maybe Jean. She could have developed more bit off Jean. But we'll just say, I think being back with a team, she'll have more room to kind of grow and change because of what they've been through. She has to kind of be like the leader, so she has to kind of adapt to what they've been through, kind of.
Yeah. I want a Ruby song on the Volume 6 soundtrack. Make it happen, Jeff.
Yes, yes, please.
I'll be whispering in Alex's ear about that. But yeah, no, I definitely want some more development for her in Volume 6, and also, I had a thought, now I lost it completely. I had a thought, and it was important, and it's gone. It was an important thought. What was it? Oh my gosh. Yeah, there's a potential for Penny, and like I've always felt ever since in Volume 3 when they showed her father, I went, they wouldn't show him for no reason. They wouldn't show him just to show him here. They're showing him because he's going to be important later. Yeah, like it's not arbitrary. They wouldn't animate him a character model for 5 seconds for no reason. So,
I don't think again, like me and Larissa have probably spoken about this like 5 times so far. I've had this conversation, but again, like I don't know if they necessarily bring her back, but I just want her to be brought up. Yeah, with Ironwood and her father, just bring her up and let RWBY kind of just jump around that. What you do with Penny isn't as important, but just bring her up and just have. And again, they mentioned her in Volume 4. They mentioned her at the start of Volume 5. They mentioned her in the middle of Volume 5. They've mentioned Penny like 3 times since she's gone. Yeah. So she's definitely not out of the story picture, at least.
I'm of the mind that if Penny ever comes back, it won't be the same Penny.
No, it won't be the same Penny.
It won't be her. She won't be
not a
Penny.
Personality.
It might look the same, but it won't definitely be the same person.
That's what I was thinking of. More bloody Ren and Nora development in Volume 6 as well. Make those two a thing, for God's sake.
They could have just had a little moment there somewhere.
Well, they started to at the end of Volume 4, and then it got completely sidelined in 5. I was like, excuse me. There was something happening here, and now it's gone. Oh,
yeah, I guess.
It's annoying. Yeah, well, that happens a lot with RWBY, where they develop this thing, and then it goes nowhere.
I think it wasn't... Like, some people go as far as to say, like, they kind of, like, you know, push them to the side or just kind of, like, you know, forgot about it. I just don't think they didn't touch on it, but I don't think it's still there, obviously. All that stuff is still there. It's definitely still
going to be there. It's just a matter of, like...
But again, with Sun and Ilya possibly coming along with them, you know, there's going to be so many characters, so it is going to be... It's just going to be a hard thing for them to deal with. Yeah. But I'm sure, again, like... They're not just going to be in the background forever. They'll come back up
to relevance. They could have just had a moment with them sitting on the couch together and Nora had her head on Ren's shoulder or something. Something small like that.
They were sitting on the couch together in Lionheart's office, but like even just like put Nora's hand on Ren's. Tiny little things like that. Just little
moments like that. Where, you know, just,
and like there was such a focus on them in Volume 4 and then they completely dropped off for 5. And I was like, this is so frustrating and it always happens.
It didn't frustrate... I don't know, me personally, it didn't frustrate me that much, personally.
It frustrated me.
I get what you're saying, though.
Same.
It's you know, it's been a long time in the making, and it's still in the making, and I'm like, can you just make it already?
To me, it's like they did get a whole half of a volume to their story. Yeah. So, you know, to me that's satisfying enough.
It just needs some little moments there. There
just needs to be those little details.
There's something.
Like I guess what you're trying to say is like because I think Ren and Nora had their moments, but they didn't have their Renora moment. Yeah. I think that's what you're trying to say.
Yeah,
because Ren and Nora individually had plenty of their moments.
They kind of did at the end of Volume 4 there. They had a little bit of a moment, but even like when they show the two characters in Volume 5, like put Nora's hand on Ren's or make them stand a little bit closer, you know, just tiny little things to say, we haven't forgotten about this, but we don't have time for it right now.
Yeah, I guess it's just one of those things, again, in this environment now, that there's too much else to focus on, I guess. That was their which makes sense, I feel like. But yeah, like, in those quieter moments in Lionheart's office, or just them around the house, there could have been a little bit more of a something. But I don't know, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, to me, in Volume 5, it felt kind of like they'd gone back to how they were before. And I was like, after what they just went through at the end of Volume 4, to then make them appear how they were before all of that happened is a little odd.
I get you.
Yeah, but hopefully a little more development for them would be nice. Yeah.
Anything else?
We almost hit the 2-hour mark.
Oh my god. Do you have anything to add?
No. Renora, I've already spoke about Renora. I really want Renora. Like, I was just looking at the Volume 4 poster in there, and it looks like, you know, Ren almost got his arm around Nora's waist, or, you know, because you can't see Nora's right arm.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Well, they just need little moments of them just,
and then they're not on the 5 one.
No, they're not on the 5 poster.
Yeah. Like, we'll know more about what to expect once things like AnimeCon and RTX Austin roll around. And
once we get something, because right now we're in the dark, we don't know anything.
It's because RTX London's before the premiere of RWBY this year. So, whereas before, it was at the premiere.
That's right.
And they premiered the first episode at RTX London, which they could
plus they also
do.
They also do stuff at New York Comic Con, which is like at the start of October.
That's true.
So we'll have at least 4 possible conventions where we'll get more information and stuff.
So yeah, we will know more once they start revealing things. About what to expect come Volume 6. Right now we're just shots in the dark. We don't know anything. So.
Oh, one thing I did want to mention before we wrap up as well, with Chibi being announced is coming back.
Yes, 30th.
30th June. Yes.
You're doing reactions, aren't you?
I will be doing reactions to it, yes. And Don
I don't get a bloody break. I've been non-stop
drawing. Get a break.
I don't get a break. And when I finally do get a break, the goddamn RWBY Art Challenge came up, so I don't get it. I don't get it.
RWBY Art Challenge, and then you're gonna have Chibi.
Yep. I don't get. I still have like 10 uploads that I just like are sitting there that I did before RWBY Art Challenge, and now when Chibi comes back up to do that, so I'm gonna have so many uploads that it's gonna be in the background for so long.
See, I did one reaction to Chibi, and I was like, nope. Because...
Yeah. No, I felt the same thing. Like, I didn't enjoy Chibi as much when I was doing reactions to them.
Yeah,
I enjoyed Chibi so much more when I
just takes the fun out of it for me.
Yeah, it
so
does.
I was like, I just want to have fun watching this rather than... Because it's another thing I have to do every week, and at the time, I just didn't have the time. And like, and now when the soundtrack comes out, I know I'm so busy when the soundtrack comes out.
Yeah, you should say she's editing school excerpts in between doing her vlogs.
Yeah, well, I'm doing daily vlogs, and I'm still trying to edit fight scenes and score excerpts at the same time. So I'm like, I need to get all this out and lyric videos. I brought all of my work with me, so don't get a break.
Work vacation.
Yeah, but, this is my busy time of year, so, yeah. Reactions would just, and I'm glad I'm not doing reactions now, because now I will have both at the same time, and I'll be like, let's not do that.
At least I'll have something.
Also, now it makes the real like Volume 6 reactions feel more genuine or more important because you do less reactions in general.
Yeah,
so
I do.
So now it's a big thing when you do.
Hopefully, when it comes to doing Volume 6 reactions now too, we're all a little bit more prepared because Volume 5 was just all over the place because of the blocking issues and stuff like that. But now we all know what to do. We all know the process, so like we should be more organised for 6's reactions now. Hopefully, that's the plan.
Hopefully. I might have to do a new video about blocking and stuff, and an updated one. Yeah, closer to.
It'll still be a thing, but at least everyone know how to deal with the thing.
Yeah. Exactly.
And sadly, a lot of YouTubers have actually stopped doing reactions to the series because of the blocking issue, because they don't know what to do with it. So
well,
it sucks.
That's the thing,
there are a few series that have stopped.
Yeah.
There are a few series that have stopped, which is annoying.
And like the thing is, though, there is support out there. It's just that obviously they either hadn't found it or didn't look. But Rooster Teeth is never gonna say, "Okay, you can't do this anymore."
Yeah,
and if you want a good example of the fact that they're happy with at least reactions. I've been seeing people upload Red vs. Blue and Camp, and they're not even on YouTube. So they clearly are at least a bit more, they clearly don't have that much of an issue with it. Now they're moving away from YouTube and just doing Rooster Teeth as much as they can. RWBY will still be on YouTube though, guys, in case you aren't aware. It'll be the same schedule. Same schedule as last year.
Yeah, it will.
It'll still be 3 days website, then a week for YouTube.
Yeah, they haven't announced anything differently, but.
Yeah. They've confirmed that because Matt said he did one for Red vs. Blue and saying that's going to be on the website. They said that RWBY's going to stay the same.
Yeah, Chibi will probably still be the week wait like they did with the first half of season 3.
It will be, to the best of my knowledge, it is. I think,
well, at least with Chibi with RWBY proper, it will be the 3-day wait.
RWBY's just mainstream enough where they kind of have to because they have so many other. RWBY has so many connections to other merchandising and just like it's so big out there like Warner Brothers and stuff that they kind of need to give it a more public revenue or public exposure than just the Rooster site. But Camp Red vs. Blue, that's their own thing. It's not that big, so they can keep it on their own website.
And as like it baffles me how we still get people. I still get comments saying you can't do this. This is stealing their content. Okay, every single RWBY video I make now goes through Rooster Teeth. every single
Yeah, they've
one.
got to approve. They've got to manually review every single video.
All of my fight scenes, all of my lyric videos, all of my score excerpts go through Rooster Teeth. I don't
and at least you're
without
doing
their
something.
approval.
Like some people just upload RWBY-related clips and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, at least you're giving a reaction, doing some editing. At least you're giving substance to them. You're giving your own personality on it.
Yep.
My soundtrack reaction was the only one that didn't get picked up.
Mine neither.
Because it's the music, but typically when you use the audio visuals, which is the episodes itself and the audio, that the bot will pick it up. Typically, it doesn't pick up the music. But all of my fight scenes and lyric videos go straight through Rooster Teeth. Like, they don't go up unless Rooster Teeth approves them. So every video that I make for RWBY now gets approved.
besides guys, when they don't get picked up, they're probably gotten claimed, so they get the money anyway. So it's not like it doesn't really matter.
They get blocked immediately because the ones that I use the footage for, they get blocked, and I dispute it, and we go through that whole process, and Rooster Teeth then approves it out the other end. So I still get a lot of people on my lyric videos, especially saying, you can't just put lyrics over the intro and re-upload the intro. I'm like, actually, I can. Because I did, and Rooster Teeth approved it. So
exactly.
shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And, like, I got that a lot on my, the Triumph short video and my Let's Just Live short one.
Oh, really?
Because it was just after the intros had come out, and I put them up basically straight away. But they both had to get approved.
Yeah, yeah.
So, like, they went up, and people were like, oh, you can't do this. I'm like, actually, I can, because Rooster Teeth told me I can. Rooster Teeth told me I can. So don't you tell me that I can't, because, you know, but that's the case with all the videos now.
Yeah.
Yep. And that includes the reactions too.
Yeah. If you upload any visual RWBY content, it goes through Rooster Teeth.
Yep.
Does not go on YouTube without their approval.
Absolutely.
And even most of my speed arts, like, they get claimed. You know, and I'm fine with that. You know, luckily, I've never gone through the blocking process because I don't use a lot of. But even so, I've never thankfully had to go through that. But again, they always get claimed, and I'm happy. I'm fully happy with that. That's no problem.
We don't take any of the revenue from our RWBY videos. Rooster Teeth takes it all because it's their content. Yeah, and we are fine with that. We don't care.
We just do it because we enjoy it and we want to share love at the show.
We just do it because we love doing it. Yeah, exactly.
More or less.
And like, we don't get anything. Well, that's not true. We get, you know, a lot out of it. Yeah, but we don't get anything monetarily out of it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, I think we're almost at the 2 hours now.
We are
about to cross 2 hours.
So, thank you very much, Beck, for coming into our territory, our cast. Thank you for
having me. I go on about the soundtrack too much, I know.
Go
home and do it all again.
It's a pretty good time because we're like, what should we discuss on the corner Remnant when Beck's down? Because she won't want to talk about Blaze Blue.
And then the soundtrack dropped and we were
like, well...
Yeah, that was so perfect.
That was perfect timing.
It was so well.
Yeah, it was.
But thank you everyone for joining us. Thank you for interacting in the chat. This has been really, really fun, really long, but really, really fun.
Yes. Thank everyone who's stuck through with it. It's been good. Yeah.
Oh, it's gotten really hot in here, so I have to close my bloody door after that damn truck was outside. And this cosplay isn't exactly the coolest thing either.
Well, it's not too cold at the moment, but
I'm alright with the beanie on.
That's the annoying thing too. Apparently, it's going to be freezing in Sydney tomorrow, and I have to go out in this outfit. So it's going to be very cold.
Don't know the meaning.
But hopefully, going to meet Cara and Elizabeth, so that'll be worth it.
Yes, we want photos and news and everything.
Yeah,
it'll be a lot more expensive than RTX is though.
Yeah,
well, it's not cheap.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you have to pay for your autographs and photos, which is completely fine. I'm no issue with that.
You do.
It is,
but compared to the other guests, Cara and Elizabeth are very cheap. There are some guests there that are very
Aaron
expensive.
and Jen's prices were very reasonable.
Yeah, at Melbourne Supernova.
It's the same prices as you guys got.
Oh, the Doctor Who people were hundreds of dollars.
They were.
Yeah.
They were ridiculous.
Insane.
Some of the Arrowverse people and like Chuck Norris and stuff are going to be there. They're like $100 for like autographs and stuff.
Well, see, like they don't set those prices. Supernova set them.
Yeah.
So I'm like, really?
So I think the RWBY voice actors, they just choose the lowest that they're able to choose. So that's I think that's what they normally do. Get a SheNoob siblings photo. Yes,
that's the plan. That's the plan. Okay, so I think I'm gonna get 2 autographs from Cara, a photo of Cara, a photo with Cara and Elizabeth, and 1 autograph from Elizabeth. Yeah, which is like gonna be like $300 probably.
Oh yeah,
but that's fine.
Easily.
That's fine by me. Plus like a $30 entry ticket.
I think I got autographs from both Aaron and Jen, and then we got a joint photo with Aaron and Jen, and all of that together was $120 or something.
Yeah.
So it's insane.
Well, the autographs are the way to go because you get the talk.
Plus, I'm also going to check out the Hanabi store.
Yeah, the autographs I thought was better because the photos they just rush you in and rush you out, but the autographs I actually got to talk to Aaron and talk to Jen a little bit, and like I was cosplaying Blake on the day too, so that was pretty.
The only thing I got to say to Aaron was hold my scythe.
Yeah, you were like, do you want to hold the scythe? She was like, fuck yeah.
Ironically enough, I said the same thing to John Reisinger about my cane at RTX.
Yeah.
Hold my cane.
Yes, yeah. That's an awesome photo with him holding the cane.
Yeah.
I know this is not really related, but John Reisinger is probably my favourite Rooster Teeth member. I love him so much. He's so underrated.
Too. And like,
John Reisinger is
I got an autograph with him and Barbara at RTX Sydney, but like I did not have time to talk to them because they were rushing everyone through.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad. I was like, I really want to just like say something, but no.
Yeah, I got to have a little bit of a chat with
the line
Lucy
was
and Barb,
enormous. Oh my god. Yeah.
Also, the most recent episode of On the Spot this season has been so funny. If anyone hasn't seen On the Spot this season,
I have been watching it.
It's so. Did you watch yesterday's episode?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
It gets really bad towards the end.
I think I saw something about it on Twitter.
Let's say John and Josh Flanagan have a really bad interaction. It gets really dark really quickly.
Oh, no.
It gets so sad, but it's funny. It's funny sad though.
Yeah.
Anyway, before we go into more tangents, I think we've got to wrap this up because I am hot. I got to get ready for work. I'm just I don't know. So let's take it out then.
Yeah, well, thank you everyone for watching this. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you for watching this long as well, because this will be on YouTube in 24 hours time, of course. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm all badly finishing it up. You always leave it to me.
I hate wrapping things up.
It's your stream. It's your tweet. Anyway. Thank you everyone for watching.
Yes,
we'll see you guys. See you guys in 2 weeks.
Yes,
probably
2 weeks time.
Talk about.
I'll see you on the Boopcast
Probably talk about Chibi
weeks.
and Blaze.
Yeah.
Chibi and Blaze Blue next week. Next fortnight probably.
Yeah, but most likely will be because I'll hopefully have I'll have it by then. Blaze Blue, that is. Yeah, I know you don't like talking about it. And
I'm just blanking all of this right now.
And hopefully I'll get a chance to do the story mode as well, and we can have a chat about that.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, guys.
Hopefully.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye. See ya, everyone. Bye.